I was like, man, what am I on right now? What
Yo,
show
did
am I
Adamus just say push that shit? Ew, dude, man, what the hell are you talking about?
It's better than sucking it back in.
Oh,
Oh,
Is that how it's going to be, Bot?
I hear he's a professional at both. But anyway, welcome to the pregame.
Oh, wow.
oh man.
Oh,
That's a great pregame right there.
dude, that is a great way to start. Like when this show goes to video format afterwards, people are gonna hear that. They're like, "Damn, I gotta tune in now." Like that's it. Yeah.
That's cold blooded, Bot. That's cold blooded. That's all right.
Cold-blooded.
No, we're supposed to be boys. We're supposed to be friends.
My question is, how long
more.
ago did he hit play? Like, how much of that conversation was caught?
Yo, all you guys were talking. Yo, huge shout out to everybody in the chat. All you guys were talking, right? And like I said, I am going pregame, and like nobody heard me. No,
You didn't say that. You didn't say that.
nobody heard me, man.
Yeah, I don't think he said it. Honestly, I don't think he did.
Hey, pro tip to the wise: K-Mega's only allowed to have cougar drinks from now on. Box wine and wine coolers.
Somebody-
I gotta say.
Somebody get this man fuzzy navel.
Hey,
Stats.
I went calm today, and I said no. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna drink a little beer, have a good time. Man, you know what? I just can't drink hardcore white liquors like that. That tequila was. I don't even. It was. I never used seen.
Oh, did you just call tequila white? Oh, okay, clear.
Clear.
I'm like, hold on, that's
brown.
not white boy, man. You gotta go like Dubra, go cheap white boy.
Oh no, hell no! That's like me drinking Bush beer or some crazy Bush. No,
Natty Light.
No, I like my German beer, man. I like my Spaten, Optimator, and things like that. But I'm just saying, yeah, no. I don't know how left I went on GRG last night, guys. I know that I was going on a rant about Persona, and
Dude, man,
You went so left that you couldn't go any more left, dude.
I'm pretty sure I did, yeah. So
you are so fired up about Persona, man.
Persona,
I know why.
It's their fans, man. They crack me up because every time that there's a story about Persona or whatever, and they hit me up
ever. Like
yeah, and they hit me up in they DM me or they hit me up in a video. Like if I made a video a year ago or something, Persona's doing this, and they're like, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? So I feed into it, and it's all fun because I really, congratulations for Persona selling 1.8 million copies. That's fine, but like it's funny to me, like
the devs from Persona, they were so happy to release it here a little bit later when they're looking at like, the numbers of hardware sold. They're like, man, finally we're gonna break like 1 million with this title. Like, holy shit!
Yeah. That's like I said, that franchise been out for 22 years, man. It's been even longer than that because it's been on handhelds, and it's just been it's crazy. So I mean, congratulations to them. But I mean, I really don't hate the game, but people just think I do because I talk shit about it. But I don't know. But yeah, last night was wild, man. That tequila got a hold of me, and some people call it
the Incredible
tequila.
Hulks from a few weeks ago, man.
No, that wasn't a few weeks ago. That was about a couple of months ago.
Oh man, I put about a month and a half, dude. What is going on, man? There's a 12-step program out there for you, right?
What's that?
You notice how he didn't hear that part? Like what?
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear that part whatsoever.
It was about something for quitters. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, listen here, K-Meg. At least you weren't driving even virtually last night. That's
even
all.
virtually,
Your drivatar would be so messed up after last night.
No.
If he was playing Horizon, a cop would have knocked on his door to give him the DUI test. Man.
Yeah, man, it was rough. It was rough. So yeah, but no, that I got to stick with the brown liquors, man, with the dark liquors, man. I can't.
The Hennessy.
Yep, Hennessy, Crown. Just bourbons.
Well, check this out, man. Like I hear you with the alcohol. Trust, I've had a few mornings where I woke up and my friends were calling me, yo, you know what you did last night? And I'm like, what? But it was never on YouTube during a live show. So thank God for that. But guys, do you see what's going on with the show right now? What do you think?
Looks good, man.
Looks cool, man. Looks
Yeah,
real cool.
that's a nice little pregame thing here. I am gonna switch things up when we go into the intro and stuff like that. But where that big next is, that's gonna be all gameplay, yo. I can't wait to show this shit off.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
I believe the correct term is let's do this, right?
Oh, you want to do this now?
Yeah, I think we should do this now because I think people want to see how much gameplay is going to be taking up the screen.
We have such a huge variety, man. I got to give you guys all a shout out. Like everything from Battlefield to Mario Kart, to Destiny. Yo, Optimus, that was the Destiny 2 beta that you were playing.
No, that was Rise of Iron.
That was okay. All right, you can tell how much Destiny I play. Guys, you guys are definitely in for a treat. For anybody who comes to the show and is ready to like check out the gameplay and stuff like that. Oh my goodness! And with that, I am gonna remove our little logo here and show that exactly where we're talking is right in the middle. Yo, somebody else say something. Show everybody where to look to see who is talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you see that switcheroo? Yeah.
There's some voodoo going on now.
Oh shit! Yeah, I went to New Orleans, man. Sold a couple drops of blood and my soul, and I learned some tricks of the trade with OBS. Yeah. But with all that said and done, I don't know. Keep your fingers crossed. I will like to put a little disclaimer out. We are trying, a new look for the show and everything like that. So please be patient. In case there are little hiccups along the way or whatnot. Everything's gonna be ironed out as we move forward. But definitely hit up the chat and let me know what you guys think about, the new look of the show, all that good stuff. As we should be getting into the intro right about now. You guys ready?
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. The only one thing, I probably should put the sound on the intro. There we go. What's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of the Next Podcast. It is Saturday night, and I am ready to go. We have a bunch of great topics. A lot of topics as we were going through the DM and communicating about what we want to talk about. I gotta say, a lot of these topics, not a lot of people are really talking about, and that makes me happy. I love when our show comes in and gives something a little bit extra that really hasn't been talked about by, everybody else in the gaming community. And I really can't wait to get in and talk about this with everybody. But of course, to do that, I need to do the intros. And I'm going to start off with the guy that's only drinking High C juice boxes from now on this show. Coming live from the 405, my brother, K Mega.
And we're doing it live. And god dang it, I will never be drinking some High C when I'm doing a podcast. Damn it, I'll have the
Ecto Cooler, man.
Oh shit. Yeah, anyway, whatever. I'm just tripping. I'm over here, got me a beer. I'm calming down, man, getting over that crazy ass hangover I got this morning. Hey, I'm ready to get this started, man. Excited as usual, you know what I'm saying, with my people on the I forgot what podcast I'm on. Next podcast.
Dude, you're on so many. Which one?
I'm lost. Anyway, no. Man, ready to have a good time, man. Glad to be here.
Nice. And next on the list, man, a lot of people know him as Dark Goldblum. One of the guys, an absolute crazy supporter of this podcast, a supporter of the Xbox community. It is my pleasure to introduce once again Dark Adamus!
What's up, everyone? Glad to be here tonight. But as always, man, ready to get into the topics. It's gonna be a fun show.
Just one question. Forza, is it niche?
Always, dude. It's always niche.
Damn it, man. Yo, we will be working on that. No doubt, man. It is great to have you on. I can't wait to hear some of your opinions. One of the topics that was in the DM was actually something that you brought up that like really sparked my interest. I can't wait to go in and talk about it. But we have to go down the list some more. And next on the introduction, your lights might be flickering right now because it's time to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring, the Don.
Hey, what's up, guys? It wouldn't be a week without next podcast, and I'm glad to be here. Bot's been putting some extra work into the look of the podcast, and I am doing stuff behind the scenes as we speak. So the more stuff is here to come, and me and Bot are going to knock heads together until we make this something you can't duplicate anywhere else. So
yeah, I like that. Can't duplicate anywhere else, man. All right, well, no.
Good.
Actually, go ahead. What are you saying?
No, I said we got a unique set of talented people here, so might as well just utilize all the skills that we got and come up with something special, right?
Oh, hell yeah. And next on the list, man, that gaming news assassin, man. He's got that tri laser beam just set on the topics tonight. My boy, Predator!
What's up, man? I'm loving this new format you have on YouTube right now. It looks really nice, man.
Appreciate
it's really
it.
Nice. You just did a lot of good work on this, man. When you first put it up and you showed it to me, I was like, okay, what's he doing with this? But now that I see it in action, it looks really good, man. Good job.
Nice. Well, when I sent it to you, man, I used super hot gameplay, and you're like, dude, is it gonna be that slow? And I'm like, no, that's like the core of the game right there. That was literally a horrible decision on what game to pick to show this off. Yeah, I felt like, dude, I got embarrassed. I turned red like when you said that. I was like, damn, man. Yeah.
Oh man, hey man, thanks for having me on again, man. I'm on podcast and everything you guys are doing here, so I'm ready to get down to business today.
All right, and as usual, there's a couple shout outs to the Next Podcast family. People who aren't on the panel right now because of life things, work and such. Of course, that cookie peddler herself, the first lady of the Next Podcast, Miss O Snaps, is out there, and man, she is doing an incredible job at her job. I believe she was #1 in sales this past month out of just about every single store that they have. So huge shout out to her. And my brother Foos, man, like I said, he's out there trying to 100% those achievements in life. He is working hard, has a couple jobs and stuff like that. He will be back eventually, but he's got to do what he's got to do first, and life comes first, family comes first, and we can't wait to have him back as well. But as far as the topics go, guys, Predator brought it to my attention that a certain game is actually releasing this week, and if he didn't say anything, I wouldn't have even known. And it's kind of weird to me because there was a bunch of hype when this game was first announced, and that was We Happy Few. And when I say We Happy Few, I gotta shout out to Chicken Spaghetti out there, man. When that game was announced, when it went to game preview, I know I was playing it. He was going crazy in that game, and it wasn't even done yet. But I got to ask you guys, and I'm going to start with the man who posed the question. I'm going to start with Predator. Yo, Predator, dude, what happened to the hype of this game, and how come nobody's talking about the official release, man?
Dude, I have no idea what happened. It's one of those games, you see it at E3, and I guess the presentation was so good, and I guess when people actually got their hands on it, it wasn't what they expected. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh man, this game's gonna be the shit. But then when I played the demo or whatever, about maybe a year ago, I was like, this isn't what I thought it was. Shout out to Rand because he said that too. He mentioned it. He's like, it's not what everyone thinks it's gonna be. And I think when people got their hands on it, it wasn't. They realized that Rand was right. It wasn't what they portrayed at E3. In the game, the gameplay that you actually got, it's more of a survival crafting type game. And I only played it like literally an hour. And I didn't put a lot of time into it, but it didn't interest me for what I saw. from what I was expecting to what I actually played. And I think maybe that's what happened. And when I saw that the release date was coming out, I was like, wait a minute, because I didn't see it at E3. I remember maybe it might have been on like a little sizzle reel they did, but like there was no talk about it at E3 that I heard anyway. And then when I saw that it was releasing this week or next on the 10th, I believe, I was like, wait a minute, where has this been? Like no one's even talked about this game. That's why I sent it to you in the link, because I totally forgot about it. Like I mean, it was so hyped last year, and everybody's looking forward to playing it, and then it's going to have this silent release and not going to be talked about at all.
Yo, it's kind of crazy, and I like how you brought up the fact that it wasn't at E3. A lot of people thought it was a different game from the presentation when they first announced it. Do you think that like Microsoft and Xbox kind of, because they were all in on this at first, like they were touting it like, the next awesome game. They were seeing the hype from the community out there. Do you think when the game preview came out and kind of like there was a backlash to this game isn't what we thought it was, do you think like Xbox and Microsoft kind of backed away a little bit, like said, okay?
I mean, that's definitely possible, man. But like I said, when we saw this last year, that's all we were talking about. Like, oh, this is the game. It's gonna be the game everybody wants. Everybody's like talking about it, hype, like kind of like how Cuphead was. First saw that like several years ago. Mm-hmm. But I guess because they put it in their preview program, and this is like the negative side of the preview program. Like, had they just released that game, which is the demo, it would have probably sold like crazy. But now that people have been in the the preview program and been playing it, they're probably like, I'm not interested in it. I mean, I honestly, like I said, I totally forgot about this game. So maybe Microsoft, after all the backlash of what the game actually was, maybe they backed off a bit from putting it up there center stage like they probably would have had it gotten a better reception.
Yeah. Yo, Mega Man, what do you think about like yeah, Mega Man. Oh wow, I didn't even notice that. But yo,
you do it a lot. I chuckle every time.
Yo, Mega, like what do you think about the official release of We Happy Few? Were you one of the people that picked it up during game preview? And what do you think's going on? Why do you think Xbox isn't really talking about it? Nobody's really talking about it, man. If it wasn't for Predator, I wouldn't even have known that the game was releasing this month, man.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot about it too, and that was one of the games that I was touting, just like everybody else when they first showed it. But I think this goes back to the reasoning why Phil Spencer is getting away from showing games too early, and then instead of showing it 2-3 years, in the future, because of this situation right here. It's just like what Predator said. If this game got released within the holiday season of that year, that game would have sold like hotcakes. Even with the previews program, I think if they had that out, there would have still been some backlash. But I still think that like people like me and others would have still gave it a chance. But when you got the negative aspect of it because the game wasn't like what it was supposed to be, and then you get, Microsoft hasn't been promoting anything, and especially haven't promoted this game. And then lastly, the fact that it's been so far along and more people are is more interested in going to the Xbox X and Forza and talking about Crackdown and Cuphead and other games other than this. It's just a combination of just a tobacco, and it was a fail on I think on all of their parts, on Microsoft's part and the developers of that game of We Happy Few.
I got you, man. Now you said you didn't pick it up for game preview, or
no? I watched tons of gameplay of it through Twitch. And I was like, okay, this game seems nothing like what I thought, because remember, it had that feel when you seen the trailer of it. It seemed like it had a familiar feel of
BioShock.
Yeah, BioShock. And then, what I'm saying, but it had its own little twist to it, and it was like just wild. It was going to be this creepy kind of scary game, and when I watched it, I'm like, oh man, well hopefully they might change it by that time. And then of course you had Forza Horizon 3 came out, and Recore and all these other games came out. I completely just forgot about it.
Damn. See, this is one thing. Like I've invested in game preview games, and We Happy Few. When I first bought it, I played it for a little bit, but I was like, you know what, this game's not done. I wasn't one of the people that was really kind of like pissed off over the fact that it wasn't actually like it wasn't represented properly in its trailers and all that good stuff. I felt like this game has something to offer, and now I'm actually excited. I believe it's August 19th is the release date. And I'm waiting until the 19th until it officially releases, and I'm actually going back in and I'm going to play it again and see what the finished product actually is. Because like when they first showed it, I was like, man, there's a lot of potential here. When I first played it, I was like, all right, now I get this, and there's still a lot of potential here. And again, man, I don't know how many times I said thank you to Predator, but yo, dude, thank you, man, because now I know what I will be playing on the 19th. Yo, Don, what do you think about all this, man? Why do you think that there's going to be kind of like this silent release for We Happy Few, man?
I think you have to look at it from different perspectives, right? The reason why Microsoft really put that game on their stage was to illustrate game preview program, right? That's the sole purpose of the reason why Microsoft kind of showed it off, and then so people can kind of wrap their heads around what game preview is. And I love it when situations like this happen, where it proves what I've been saying for a while is long-term marketing doesn't work for Microsoft. And this game is a perfect example of it, right? It went out there, regardless of what you felt like you were sold or anything like that. People played it. Some people, like yourself, really did like what you got. Even though it was a little bit different than what they presented, right? But the excitement dies off. You're moving on to the next thing, right, as a gamer. So unless it's a really established franchise, like a Halo or a God of War or something like that, if you show it too early, it loses excitement, it peters out, and honestly, the hype dies for it. That is the climate in the world we live in regards to that. And I don't think Microsoft's putting dollars into it, because what they put into it was, hey, you can put yourself on the preview program. You can get a source of income now. And we're okay with where you're currently at on the game in order to do that. That's kind of Microsoft throwing the developer a bone in that particular situation, which brought them income. But outside of that, that's really all their involvement ever was.
And okay, thank you, Don. For
Is
that,
that all happened?
thank you, Don.
I was like, what happened?
Yeah, okay. Well, Dark.
I was muted. Holy shit! I was
okay.
talking.
What's going on, man?
Hey, no clear
coffee
drinks
break.
for bot either, right?
Well, yeah, I gotta do that at least one time, on a show. I actually, huge shout out to our boy Jimmy Rose. He does a show that is pre-recorded, and he actually had me on as his first special guest for the show. And the show ran like 3 hours, But during that whole 3 hours, I never muted myself. So, at least one point throughout the day, I got to mute myself on a live show, and that is right there. All right, we got it done and over with. But, dude,
hey, hold on real quick, Xbot. I was
up?
just looking at something real quick. So, the game releases August 16th, and the price goes up from $29.99 to $50.99.
Ooh.
How much? $59.99?
It says $50.99 on the website. This is posted August 4th.
Oh, shoot. Well, that's the thing about the game preview. If you got it early, you get a price reduction.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many they're going to sell now with all, like, the stigma and everything like that for the title. Like I said, I feel like it has a title. It has an atmosphere there that we don't usually see in video games, like that 60s psychedelic but yet survival type aspect to it. And I'm excited for it to come out. I'm glad I got it on game preview. But what do you think, Pred? Do you think they're gonna sell units with that price, man?
No. And especially since they're not really advertising it. I mean, if they'd have been like advertising over the last couple of weeks, couple of months, showed it at E3 a little bit, show some more footage, because I don't really know what the state of the game is now. From when I played it, I guess, what was it, last year, I think, when they dropped it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it looks like now. Because I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't seen any gameplay footage other than what I did when I was researching for the podcast. But, like, I don't know what the game is anymore and how much work they put into the game from then till now to fix some of the bugs and stuff they had in there. But, like, if it was me and I had $60 laying around, I'd give it a pass, especially with it being $29.99 now and going up in price. And I know I didn't like it when I played the preview.
So for people who have some type of mild interest in this game, like you have,
Get it now.
yeah, you have a
now.
certain amount of time to get it now, and basically like half price. But I do want to go into somebody who absolutely loves indie games. I mean, he stockpiles them on his Xbox One. Yo, Dark Optimus, man, what do you think about this kind of like silent release of We Happy Few? And do you feel like Xbox just kind of backed away from this game after that little bit of a backlash that they got over what the game actually is?
I hope people know that you were joking, right? About the indies, because you know me.
You are the indie.
I hate those indies.
You're the indie god.
I'm not an indie guy at all. But We Happy Few, I mean, I had interest in it in the beginning because I was like, oh man, this could be like a BioShock, but I kind of wanted to see gameplay of it first because, I mean, I really didn't know anything about it until it was almost kind of like the release of the game. Well, the release of the preview of the game.
The release of the preview of the game. Got you.
Yes. But, when I saw it, when I saw the gameplay, I was like, oh man, it's just another survival like arc, survival kind of game. I thought it was, the people said that in the beginning, like it really feels like BioShock at first, and then all of a sudden it just kind of changed into this got to go here and survive and find resources and build your character up
and take drugs.
Take drugs and all that stuff. And I was all like, yeah, not for me. To go on your point with the with Xbox kind of not really talking about this right now. I think the reason is because I don't think anybody was really interested in it after, they released the game preview version of the game.
You're just an indie hater, man. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, that too probably, but, I think they kind of were like, well, they got so much probably backlash from the game that they were like, maybe we should kind of step back from it and, just let them kind of do their own thing without us touting.
I got you, but to me, like, this is such a unique, like I said, the atmosphere is unique, psychedelic 60s,
no, it is.
Survival,
yeah.
Like, I mean, would it really hurt, like, Aaron Greenberg or Mikey Barra, even on their Twitter page, to be like, hey, guys, remember this fucking game? It's coming out right now. Like, I don't see, it seems like there's, like, there might be a stigma to this game, like, we're not even gonna mention that, and we're just gonna keep moving. Guys, PUBG is on its way. Like, that's what I see right now,
Well, yeah, because, I mean, PUBG kind of has this, following
hype.
Right now.
It has hype right now. Is what it is.
It has hype, but it also has a lot of people
hype.
playing
It's beyond
hype.
Yeah.
That's the thing. A lot of people are playing it. A lot of people are loving the game. They're talking about it. So, yeah, of course Microsoft's going to sit there and be like, hey, guess what, guys? PUBG's coming. Like, it's just the nature of the beast, and just that's how business works. They kind of, when something like that, where it's like, oh, it doesn't do so well, they kind of put it to the side, kick it to the side and say, hey, it's coming, but, this other game's coming and it's going to be way better.
It's going to be way better.
Awesome. Basically.
Yeah, maybe we didn't have PUBG. They were talking about it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, PUBG is an interesting topic in and of itself, man. But,
it is, definitely, yeah.
But I don't know. Unless anybody else has something to say about We Happy Few, I am probably going to live stream it. I believe Predator said August 16th. I got the date wrong. I said the 19th.
I've seen 2 dates, actually. I've seen the 10th and the 16th, so I'm not really sure.
10th and the
they don't know either.
See, now, Predator, you're giving me like 5 different release dates now, man. I
read on here, like, I Googled it, it says the 10th, but then I go to the website, it says the 16th.
Oh, see, there's your problem right there. You got to use Bing, man. You can't use Google.
That's why I meant Bing. Sorry.
But the thing is, yeah, I'm gonna put it out there. Of course, like Pred said, man, the price is gonna jump on the official release. You're talking like a $60 game, so it better have $60 worth of content in it, $60 worth of immersion as well. And I'm glad I got it on Game Preview. I will go in and I will like stream it, have people, be able to check it out before they decide whether or not they want to buy it. I feel like if you have any type of mild interest in this right now, I would say pick it up right now for like $30. And so this way you avoid that $60 price tag. But we'll see what happens with that. I do want to move on. There's a very, very interesting topic that Adamus brought up in the DM, and I took a look at this for a while. And I think is the company called All Controller, Adamus?
I don't think it's called All Controller. I think the controller itself is called All Controller.
All right.
And it's basically, well, I'll let you explain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give it back to me. I am the host. I guess I got to do this shit. Anyway, a company came out with a crowdfunding initiative, right? And their initiative was to make a controller for every single platform. One controller that you can use for your Xbox One, your PS4, even Android, iOS, Windows. Let's see what else they're going to put in for Wii U, for the Switch as well. Just basically one controller to rule them all. Now, they did a crowdfunding initiative. Their first phase of crowdfunding, they blew past it. So they are getting money now for this. First I got to know, everybody on the panel, did you look into and read about this controller?
I didn't, but
I did not.
Oh, okay. Well,
talk about it.
Yo, K Mega, he's gonna ad lib and he's gonna freestyle his way through this topic, man.
Yes.
It's what all us professionals know how to do. But the thing is, they're gonna make this controller, and I want to know what you guys think about it. Who did look into the article? Predator, you said you did, or?
I did not.
Okay. What about the Don? The Don likes reading. Come on, man.
The control, I like OE controllers. I like really well-made OE controllers. I don't like a lot of these aftermarket ones. And the last thing I want to do is have like a universal remote for my gaming systems. That does not have any appeal to me at all. I think there's an audience for it, but I'm definitely not that audience. So I wish them best luck, to be honest with you. But I think it's going to take luck.
All right. Well, I took a look at it, and the first thing about it was the thumbsticks are in the same position as the DualShock 4. Right there, to me, that is a bad decision on the design, because even people who are solely on the PS4, if they have ever had a Xbox controller in their hand, they're like, "Wow, this feels so much better." Right? So they didn't do that. They went with the DualShock 4. They put the touchpad on it. It's going to have an LCD screen, right, where you are able to switch from your Xbox to your PS4 to iOS to Android, and that's the way they're handling that whole universal aspect of this controller. I have a problem with this, all right? My problem is when it comes to the features of each controller. Whether you like the features of, like, the rumble triggers on the Xbox One controllers or you don't, or if you like the feature of the speaker in the DualShock 4 controller or you don't, they don't have those in this. And I feel, in my personal opinion, is I want every single feature for the platform that I own or platforms that I own, and I don't feel like having a universal controller. I'm looking at the pros and cons. I'd rather still have the rumble triggers in there, the speaker on the DualShock 4. But Adamus, you're the one who came up with this topic, man. So what do you think about this controller? Is this something that you might invest in? And are there any pros and cons in your opinion?
Well, when I threw it into the DM, I was all like, "This is interesting," but the controller looks like trash, like absolute garbage. I'm all like, dude, like you were saying with the thumbsticks being like the DualShock 4. Why would you put those there? Why would you place them there? We all know that with the DualShock 4, we all hitting our fucking thumbs together and shit. We don't want to be doing that with a universal remote if we're going to have something like that. And it's all good. These people are really trying to, bring something to the table for all gamers and everybody who wants to play on multiple consoles. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be picking this up, and I'm definitely not going to be crowdfunding for it. I just, they try to make it look like an Xbox controller, but kind of made it look like a DualShock 4. So it's like basically just a Frankenstein of a controller. It's terrible, man. It's absolutely terrible.
Hey, let me ask you guys something. What the fuck happened to your crew that you got Dark Optimus filling in? Crew, man. Come on.
Oh man, that sounds going to hell, man.
Dude, next time we play Battlefront, I'm shooting you right in the fucking head.
Yo, crap. He can't even aim that good, man. Don't even worry about that.
Shut up.
Shot,
Straight up gave our podcast a wedgie.
I'm like
Flying in here.
looking at the group. I'm like, okay, man, I like all the people on the podcast, but man, what happened to your normal group, man? Where's like the ones with the cool names like Fooskies and them, man? Where's everybody at?
Well, Fooskies is on a little bit of a layoff. He's got some life issues he's got to take care of. He like talking to him, he was so worried about. He was like, man, like I hope I'll still have a seat once everything's straightened out here. So man, he's a dedicated dude. He's a cool guy, and he will always have a seat here. But Dark Optimus, man, I don't know. You think should we boot him from the hangout? What's going on? Yo?
Wow. What a great bunch of
friends. Kick him out. That's fucked up.
I don't think that they're gonna boot me from the hangout. Come on, guys. What's up, man? Everybody likes Crap Gamer, man. Well, mostly.
Kumbaya, man. Kumbaya.
Such crap gamer.
Hey, I got K Mega and Predator, man, and the Don. Those guys like me. Come on.
We BGST brothers, man. Of course.
Yeah. Hey, man, I just gotta say this controller thing sucks, man. If Sony wants to come out with an Elite controller, they should just fund one and come out with one. Other than that, man, it's just a waste of goddamn time.
Well, yeah, there's actually people paying for this crowdfunding. It's not on Sony; it's a different company. And my whole thing is when it comes to the features, man, you have an Xbox controller in your hand. When you're not on Media Player, man, and you're racing and Forza, the rumble triggers and everything like that. It's a part of the Xbox platform, and I don't want to sacrifice those things just to have a universal controller that goes even on my iPhone. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, that sounds cheaply made, to be honest with you.
Well, here's the other thing, too. There's a big latency difference between the two systems on the OE controllers. Like, are you going to get this just mudded out version, or are you not going to take advantage of just the basic technical aspects of the controllers themselves on those platforms? That's another thing people forget to think about.
Right.
I don't know, man. Yo, Mega, what do you think about this universal thing? Is this something that you might purchase in the future? What's going on, dude?
No. I mean, I'm not interested whatsoever. I think that it might have life with PlayStation gamers because there might be people that might want to, because it's catered. It sounds I didn't see what it looked like, but it sounds like it's catered to the PlayStation fan. Because people might want to just grab an extra stick for people to come over, and they're like, oh, here, take this piece of shit while I whoop your ass with this regular PlayStation 4 controller. I have no idea, but no, and this is a really smart move by Microsoft to keep it's taking their hardware or their peripherals and letting it come with them to the newer systems that they got coming. I think that's the smartest thing that they ever could have done. So basically, if you buy a Elite controller, that controller is going to go on to the Xbox X and to probably most likely whatever the new iteration of the Xbox is. I think they've already seen the writing on the wall that there was going to be a lot of people trying to do this, or companies, and they just stepped ahead of it. So I think it's just basically more catered to Sony.
I got you. I could definitely see that. Like I said, with the way the thumbsticks are, they're exactly like the DualShock 4, which to me right there, that's a design flaw in and of itself. Now I play my PS. I don't see any new Nintendo people playing with that because they're comfortable with how the Switch controller, their gamepad is, and then those little nunchuck things or whatever. So no. Yo, but with the you made a great point with the Switch, like the Pro controller. I believe the thumbsticks are where like the Xbox controller is. So even Nintendo, the kind of like special cousin in the corner of the gaming industry realizes like where you should actually put the thumbsticks. That is a little ironic right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like a third-party approach to like game software in a controller form. I mean, it's what you're ultimately are kind of looking at, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, they're trying to cast the biggest possible net, but the problem is there's a uniqueness to when it comes to hardware that you're just missing out on what makes each one of the pieces of hardware special. And it just, oh my gosh, I don't even want to touch the thing.
Like you get
I don't know about you, man. I
gaming
just
herpes from it.
I can just feel like the awkwardness of the shape and how it just doesn't feel right. Like, you know, that's something about an OE controller. Like, you can say what you want about PlayStation or Xbox. Like, they do a lot in R&D as far as like the shape and of the controller itself, right? And I know as Xbox guys, we could be very critical of PlayStation as far as their controller, because that's the number one thing we like about Xbox is the controller. But you got to keep in mind, if you own a PlayStation and you buy any third-party controllers for the most part over the years since PlayStation's been around, the third-party controllers have always never been as good as the OE one, right? And the same thing always happens on the Xbox side of things. That's the reason why the Elite controller took off so well on Xbox. It's just not because there's not a market for a nicer controller, but we want that higher quality feel of just the shell of the controller itself. I mean, that's at least my take on it. So
I got you.
I wasn't interested in this at all because I have a $150 controller right here in my hand. It is the best thing ever made in the history of life as a controller.
History of life.
I'm trying to figure out how to get this to work on my fucking Switch and on my fucking PS4.
Exactly.
I would never go and buy that shit. I
there's
that
a way
online.
to make that controller actually work on your PS4, believe it or not.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there is the means to do that. So
Yeah, you can
People-
get some
people
software.
do buy-
Yeah.
that was one of the problems with the Elite controller when it first came out. People were actually buying it and using it to play on a PlayStation as well. So
I can understand that because the
100%, man.
Yes, all of us can. Yeah,
isn't good.
I got you. Well, I think we've given this controller a little too much time. You know, if you're into something like that, it is in crowdfunding right now. I am not putting a link in the description or in the chat. I think it's a waste of time personally. But on that note, yo, crap, are you watching the show right now, man?
Yeah.
What do you think about the new layout, man? I gotta ask you, dude. I gotta.
You know, I like the layout, man. I think I got a little tease of it yesterday during Crossfire. I remember you sent the link to it, so I think it's pretty cool. I definitely dig it, man. I'm digging the graphics and everything that you got going on, man. I got to say, good job.
Thank you.
Definitely,
thank you.
man.
Yeah, I have to toot my
Congrats.
own horn. I have to toot my own horn every once in a while, but I'm happy that I saw quite a few people in the chat saying they like the way it's going. Yo, huge shout out to our boy J Dubs, because me and him have been kind of, you know, doing hangouts and stuff, kind of sharing information about OBS and stuff like that. And he actually gave me a key piece of information when it comes to this to be able to do something like this. So huge shout out to Jay. Yo, crap, while you're here, man, we're gonna go through the topics and everything like that, and I know you don't even know what we're talking about. Is there anything you want to talk about or bring to the panel and have everybody discuss in terms of gaming, man?
Well, what are some of the things you guys were talking about so far today? Because I mean, there is like obviously the new update, Spotify coming to the Xbox One. I think that's pretty cool. You know, finally that's going to be coming there. I don't know if you guys saw the leaked update that's going to be coming to the Xbox One. You're going to be able to update your home and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Just the customization that's coming, the quickness that's coming. I think that they might announce like this new dash and a lot of this stuff at Gamescom, and I think that we might get some interesting things at Gamescom that maybe might not be like megatons, but you know, some interesting things that we're going to be getting further along down the line with the Xbox One and the Xbox One X. There's still plenty of stuff that we don't know about. So, I mean, I feel like, yeah, we know the Xbox One X is coming and we know we're getting some games, but probably some games maybe for next year or some features that we don't know about. Are we ever going to get the YouTube be able to stream straight to YouTube
Nope.
off our Xbox.
No.
When like I've been hearing forever that there's going to be a new update to the what the hell?
Studio?
Yeah, Upload Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hearing forever that we're getting that update. It's going to be a huge update, obviously, with the ability to do the 4K stuff and all that. Like, I've heard that from multiple people that I know I can trust, so I know that's coming. But when are we going to get these announcements? Start getting people pumped up for that stuff. I would really like to see that come out.
Honestly, the better thing is, like, obviously, if it does come at Gamescom, like, that means they're going to have to be on the gas between now and X, trying to get all that information out to the public. Like, they can't ease up on the gas like they have been in the past, where they kind of announce something and then they back off. Like, to me, it seems like with everything that just crap mentions alone, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to have to be on that. I mean, squeeze it all at Gamescom and then keep talking about it between now and when it releases. I mean, that's a crazy amount of work.
Just ask anybody that does any kind of anything, right? There hasn't been much news gaming related from anybody for like 2 weeks, a very little, like here and there. Like, I think Microsoft really needs to kind of step on the gas a little bit. We know that pre-orders are going to be coming soon, probably at Gamescom. Mm-hmm. They announced that Taco Bell stuff and the Real Madrid stuff, but where's the rest of it? We need to get some hype going for this thing. I feel like I don't think that it's dying down, but you've got to keep. It doesn't do much to keep people excited each week. Tease a little something. Mikey Barra has been doing a good job.
Yo, he flipped a page on a book or something, man, and he is going in Xbox.
I think you probably heard what happened there, but I'm not going to really share about exactly what happened. But I'm just going to say that I heard that somebody lit the fire under his ass, and so after that point, he's always just like, yeah, this game's looking great. And what's so funny is, if you ever read those tweets that he puts out, like, click on them and read the comments, you see like the saltiest people. Like, to me, that's the best entertainment, right? When he's like, who's ready for true 4K? Or he tweeted out that fucking 4K resolution thing. He's like, what do you play in, right?
Yeah,
I about died, man. I was like, man, should I make a video of that? Because you should have seen the fucking comments in there, right? Like, it's crazy. That's what I love about it. You got to be on the offensive a little bit. It's okay that he likes the Switch or he can game on PC, games on all of it, but at the end of the day, he's a goddamn Xbox person, right? So that's what he should be hyping up most. And like I, like many others, felt like Xbox executives were hyping up stuff that wasn't Xbox for the longest time. So this makes me extremely happy. I wish everybody else was on board. I think they got some stuff working. You got Greenberg going to where PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is. You got PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds developers coming to Microsoft. I wonder what's going on there. You know what I mean? There's all this cool stuff that's going on behind the scenes. I would love to see them go, hey, PUBG exclusive, console exclusive to Xbox for life. Like, that's the kind of shit that they need to go out there doing, because that's going to get people excited. People are going to buy that game, or they're going to buy an Xbox just for that game. And the Xbox One X, because I got a feeling that game's not going to run great on the base Xbox One, but I feel like the Xbox One X, it's going to run fantastic.
Well, yeah, they're talking about 100-man servers.
They have them up already.
100-man servers, and then you're talking about their bigger maps. I mean, this is like, this is like a Battlefield on crack. So this is definitely meant to be played on the X. Plus the other games that they're going to have on there that's more PC centric. Like, you got what is that? The Exiles game, Path of Exiles, and then the Pillars of Eternity. Those type of games also, they're going to be on there. They're like Diablo games. Though, I mean,
Path of Exile is the shit. I'm telling you, I've been playing that beta. I've been playing that. It's a little bit more hardcore than Diablo, but I think that it has an opportunity to be just as good, if not better, on the Xbox One, because it's a little bit more hardcore. It's not as hand-holding, but I do think that it is fun, and the opportunity is there for it to really kind of impress people, especially for, I think, the price, which I think it's free. So, or it will be.
Well, it's the betas right now. It's because it's a free to play on the PC. But I think when it comes, it's the beta. You can get the beta right now, and I don't know if it's going to be free or if it's going to.
I think it's going to be free, but you're going to have to be able to buy microtransactions and stuff.
Right. But it's a good game.
Yeah, it is. And so I saw somebody in the chat mentioning the Last of Us 2 stuff, which to me, it's par for the course, right? I always say this, and it seems like I'm being mean to PlayStation. It's not. The fact of the matter is,
You sure?
they show this shit, right? They show this shit, right? They show Death Stranding. They show The Last of Us 2. And you get the Sony fanboys in your fucking face. They're like, oh, man, we're going to be playing this on our PS4. And I'm standing there with my arms out like, when? Because this shit ain't coming until 2020. This game isn't even in production.
No.
You know, like, come on. So you're talking like 2020 and Death Stranding. We see people see some CGI and then that game's gone for like 3 or 4 years. Kojima takes forever. So these games that people are buying PlayStation 4s for right now, those games aren't even coming to your console.
Listen here,
You know?
it doesn't take much talent to do a trailer and then release a game 3 to 4 years later. I mean, I could do a trailer for my game right now, right? Like I can. I can pay a studio. I can do it.
Hell, I could make a trailer for a game that I'm not even making.
Exactly. Let's just be real. Like, I'm working on a game, and I can make a trailer and get people excited for 2 or 3 years down the road. That doesn't do. That's not a consumer friendly thing to do.
No, it's not.
In my
That's
opinion.
what I'm pointing out. It's lying, babe. It's misleading people. You know, I bought a PS4 because they're like Uncharted 4 at the reveal, right? At the launch of the PS4, they're like Uncharted 4, and I'm like, oh shit, that's my favorite PS4 franchise. I better get one, and I get one. It's like delay.
Well, just think about how many games that we've seen in from trailers, and then how those games have changed. Once they came out and released,
that's almost slippery slope. Like,
that's that. Yeah, if you show them too early, and then if the project that they were working on at that particular time didn't work for them, then they got to scrap it and come back or just piece things together, and then that's when you have a game that's being rushed out because the publisher is expecting this game to be out at this particular time, and then boom, we have a Scalebound, or we have just think about what happened with Uncharted 4. How many delays did that game get?
I just played Quantum Break again. And that game looks gorgeous.
Dude, I'm watching the gameplay as everybody's talking. I am sorry, guys, but I'm just watching this gameplay. I'm like, damn, man, I got to go back and play this game because it looks incredible.
So good.
So I was playing through the game, and they've done like a lot of improvements, but there's a lot of things they changed. Obviously, outside of the main character and all that sort of stuff. But there's a scene where you go in, and this girl's about to get all shot up, and the time is frozen, right? And they showed that on earlier E3 coverage and all that sort of stuff with the older character, and there's glass everywhere that was broken, and you're walking through and moving that out of your way. And looking at the final game itself, none of that glass is there or anything like that. So games change so far out from when you show something that's 2 or 3 years out to what it actually finally comes back to. They're living, breathing things. Sometimes in certain ways they can get better. Some ways they can actually have to be scaled back, right? And I'm not a fan of showing games too early on any platform.
Yeah.
Xbox, Microsoft,
Either look,
Sony, doesn't matter.
Don, I just want to point out something because someone in the chat's like, "Oh, Microsoft announced these games too early." Look, I've been on there. I've said they announced these games too goddamn early. Scalebound should have never been announced when it was. Crackdown should have never been announced when it was. They didn't even have anything for what the hell is that game that they released, the Phantom Dust. They didn't even have anything for that game built. It was a CGI thing. I'm against that on all fronts. Right? Xbox, Nintendo. Nintendo shouldn't announce Metroid Prime 4 because they didn't even have anything to show.
Yeah,
it's just a little thing in production. In production. I'm against that 100% across the board. Now, because I'm an Xbox fan, it sounds like it's damage control, but it's not. I like that everything Microsoft showed is releasing between this past E3 and the next one. And then you go on from that point, right? And I'm the first to admit, they're probably not going to have a shit ton next year because they're going to go into this lull for a couple of years. They said they just signed some deals.
Surprises. They'll have what we expect, right?
Yeah. This is what I said. This would be a pretty good thing, idea of what we're going to get from them exclusively next year, right? And it might not sound like great to a lot of people, but I firmly believe we're going to get Sea of Thieves and State of Decay early. We're going to get Ori 2, Halo 6, and Forza Horizon 4 late. So I think that's a solid, and there's going to be little stuff in there in between as well. You know what I mean? There's going to be other stuff. So that to me is a great lineup. To other people, it's like, oh, well, it's stuff we all know about. Okay, but guess what? It takes time to build up great games, and we know they're working on stuff, and that's just going to take a little bit of time, and people are going to just have to relax and chill out a little bit because to go with the whole exclusive things, where were you at the beginning of the generation when they were launching with so many more and yet nobody was buying them. You know, like to
Right.
me, it's always been about doing the third party stuff and playing the best. And the X is all about that.
Honestly, though, that's why I think the X is essential for Microsoft in a lot of ways. Is all first party that gets enhanced, you get a second win with those games, right? Does that make sense? So if you haven't jumped into Xbox platform and you're like, man, now that X is looking hot, and even if you decided on an S or an X, right? Those games got an upgrade, and when you're ready to pull the trigger, you're going to get the best versions of those showpiece titles, and it's not about the resolution anymore. You can't argue against that anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And those games can really shine because the Xbox One X has enough overhead. If they want to bring it to 4K, they have about 30% to 40% overhead they can add to better effects and things like that in better settings on those games. So those games I really feel like you're going to get a second wind, like in a lot of ways. Like expect all of a sudden Halo, the latest Halo, to sell another 2 million.
Well, see,
in that next year.
Hey, you know what, Don? Hold on, like real quick, Ekbot, let me jump in because he makes a great point. They are updating Halo 5 with the 4K update, and it's getting new playlists. He's right. They could sell another 2+ million. That's something that these other games don't have the luxury of, is getting these types of updates.
And they have secrets. They're being kind of like closed-lipped. They have more in terms of content for that update. That's another thing I've been looking into. I haven't really made a video yet on it because I want to be more certain about what they're dropping. But they're talking more than just a Halo 3 anniversary like playlist. They said that they have a few other things in there. And I'm more excited about it now because I wasn't too happy about the Halo 3 anniversary playlist. Crap, man. I was like, dude, just go full-blown anniversary title with Halo 3. And, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't do that. But another point I wanted to make with Crap saying everything he was saying about, Halo 6, about the new Forza Horizon. He said smaller things in between. We saw what is coming up within the next year at E3. So games like Ashen, games like Code Vein, stuff like that. They have great games to fill in the gaps in between, the Sea of Thieves release and stuff like that going into the holiday with Halo 6 and Forza.
Sea of Thieves is probably one of my most anticipated games. I absolutely cannot wait for that game to launch. Everybody I know is excited for that. Well, pretty much everybody I know, not Mooch, but everybody else is like super excited for that game. And anybody that's played it is I've never seen somebody that's played it and not had a good time. So I think that's perfectly safe to say because we've all seen like the footage and stuff, what's going on with that, and they keep adding stuff. So to me, that's right up my alley. I'm a multiplayer kind of person, so I play a lot of multiplayer stuff. That game really kind of speaks to me, and just being able to play all the best games. Because look, you don't even need to patch your games to have them get a boost from the One X. So that's great. And there's already like something like 100 games that are going to get enhanced, which is more. There's already that many, and the console's not even out yet. And there's only 59 games that get any kind of treatment on the PS4 Pro. So the PS4 Pro to me is almost like a failed Sega product. That's how I look at it. Like you don't hear much about it in terms of, games that are really supporting it. And the ones that are, it's just like, okay, who cares? Because it's not really big support,
Well, I was going to say that's another thing that's overlooked as well. It's like when you look at these, there's more Xbox S's get sold, or the Xbox X. There's going to be some of those games that PlayStation hasn't really talked about because like let's say like Nier Automata and what's coming up like Hellblade. Those games are still third party, and those games will be coming to the Xbox. They're just timed exclusives.
Yeah.
So just think of
Hellblade was made by a 10-person team or something. So
exactly, and then another advantage for Xbox fans as well is that those games are going to be cheaper when they come over to the Xbox. Plus, they're going to look 10 times better than what it looked like on their Pro or on their regular PlayStation. So that's another advantage as well, because you got to think about those other games that may not have came to the Xbox right now, but they'll be coming over. So those are still added games that people may have been looking forward to play on their PlayStation, or just didn't decide not to get one, but they can get it if they're patient enough to get it on the Xbox. So it's a win-win at this point. So I'm excited.
I agree 100%, man. I think they're going to have a killer lineup. I like what Phil's doing in terms of not showing stuff too early. Hey, that shit's bit him in the ass before. So I can understand being gun shy about that. I think eventually he's going to have to get over that a little bit and show, and show some things. Like I still am 100% certain we're going to see Fable come along at some point.
We know they're making that, man.
Yeah, they're clearly making it. They had a shit ton of assets in place. Do something with it, Again, I had heard like you can't really fault me for saying what I hear because sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't. It's like for every time you get like the Xbox One X name right, you hear something from people and then it turns out they can pull back on the games a lot easier. Like I had heard they were going to do I heard Sony was going to do a big Battlefront 2 presentation and they didn't do that. You know what I mean? So I would have bet money on that they would have, because that's a game that they pay a lot of money to get advertising rights to, and they showed shit at E3. So things change last minute sometimes. So it's just, it kind of is what it is, but I'm very excited to see what they do, and they're going to show off the differences between some of these third-party games, and I'm very excited for that. I've not been this excited for a console in a long time, and what really kind of flabbergasts me is the fact that people can still downplay the Xbox One X, even if, like, you just scratch your head at it, right? Look, if a PlayStation dude goes, Xbox One X sucks, you're like, in what way? It's like 40% more powerful than the PS4 Pro. If a PC dude goes, it sucks, you're like, well, this isn't even peasant territory anymore because this is more powerful than the majority of people's PCs too. Yeah, so right. There is absolutely no reason to hate on this thing. It's got a solid price point. You can't knock it because $499 is the price that we paid for the original one anyway. So to me, this thing is much more future-proof. It's got 9 gigs available for developers. They seem to love it. I did a video about it today. Those developers absolutely love the ability with the bandwidth and all that stuff. So
this is a true story with any console now, in the future, whatever. You can never have enough RAM. You can never have enough. Like, if they can give us 64 gigs, they would use it. Like, literally, no joke. So, like, you can never have enough RAM. Back to Craft's point, Lo, like the excitement, like you know, when new consoles release, right? And this is kind of that step-gap where you are actually getting like next level performance in a console, right? Usually there's excitement from the media, right? It doesn't matter what platform it is. They're just excited because it's new tech. We're supposed to be excited about stuff. This is our hobby, right? And it's one of the few times I've seen like people are just kind of like depressed and down on it. They'll come blaming excuses like what television they have and things like that, and not looking at everything as a whole. And to me, it's a little bit not Xbox X itself being depressing, but the people are doing in major media outlets and how they're looking at the platform. They're not getting it. Like I almost kind of look at them like, are you guys gamers?
Yeah. No,
do you guys enjoy games?
Yeah, like they're questioning everything. They're questioning everything that's about the X, but then yet they didn't really question anything about the Pro. Right there off the bat, when Cerny came out there and was talking about 8 teraflops, that should have been something that was headline news everywhere. But the only thing that you've seen was in a few articles. You may have had 1 or 2 writers to say that was bullocks. But the fact of it is that like. If anybody from the Microsoft staff came out there and said anything about something that outrageous, we would still be talking about it to this day.
Hey guys, I'm still waiting on all the we tried to build a rig that outperforms the PS4 Pro for $399. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna give you compliments on that video too, man.
Yeah,
I was like, he's right. Like I've never heard this before. When I heard you say that, I was like, he's absolutely correct. Like,
exactly.
I've never heard anyone trying to build a PS Pro. Specs on a computer, and
nobody's like, I don't have a 4K TV, et cetera, et cetera. And the funny thing is, you really need a 4K TV for a Pro because a lot of the games don't downsample, whereas the Xbox One X, it literally downsamples everything. So even if you have only a 1080p, you're still getting a much better picture quality. Right. And people don't understand it. It's like, okay, you don't bring up 4K TV for the Pro, but you do for the X. When one of them downsamples and super samples, but the PS4 Pro doesn't on everything, they have to like code it. It's like a pain in the ass to code for. Yeah, that's the problem. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really benefit just the games regularly. Like you can't put in an old game and it's going to run better. You can do that on the One X, and that's what's going to appeal to a lot of people. So to me, it's another reason to be super excited. And a lot of these people on YouTube And the media, they built the whole generation bashing Microsoft for the lack of power and et cetera, et cetera. And that's where they've gotten a lot of their fans and their hits from.
And now they're backed into a corner.
And yeah, so what are you going to do? And the thing is, it's like they're looking, it's looking bad for them. Like I look at some of the titles of the videos and things like that, and it's easy to disprove because people are like, where's the uncompromised 4K? But then you can go back to 2016, right at E3, Phil did an interview and he goes, we're not forcing 4K on anyone, but the power is there for uncompromised if they choose to take advantage of that. They said that multiple times. And the entire first-party library is 4K on the that Microsoft is offering. So the ones that they're in charge of is 4K. They, again, don't force anything on the other developers. They're free to do what they want. So people just like try to make Microsoft look bad no matter what, and Sony can do whatever they want.
Not just 4K, right? But the uncompromised comment came from is you're not going to get frame drops. You're not going to get this other stuff. You're not going to get this upgrade in this one area, and then all of a sudden you see compromises in another place, right?
Yeah. Which is like what happened with the PS4 because they were pushing 1080p so much, and you would see like some of the stuff would look washed down and stuff. See, Don, you're smart like that. You pick it up. Other people think uncompromised. They said uncompromised, but here it is. It's not going to be 4K. It's like they celebrate every game that's not 4K. And me, I'm like, okay, well, that means it's going to be great, better performance. It's not going to perform like shit. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think that says gamers, that's what we want. And again, I played the Destiny 2 beta. That's 30 frames per second. But you know what? At least I got to say it didn't feel terrible to me. I trust the developers to do what's best for their games. And the Xbox One X is going to perform best for the games that I like, because I like Call of Duty and Battlefront and Battlefield. So those games are going to perform best on the X, and they're 60 anyway. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, that better, steady performance that comes along with the hardware. So yes, I'm super goddamn excited for the console, and be damned if I'm going to let somebody ruin my excitement because they're jealous or because they can't handle the fucking truth.
Yeah, I mean, they could talk about. I'm sorry. They were just going to say they could.
Yo,
they
crap!
could bring
You come in here, man, and everybody wants to talk to you, dude.
Well,
hey, man, you know what? I come in here, man. I busted it. It's like I haven't been in there for a while. Don invited me last week because you guys were a little bit shorthanded, but I was on the road, so I was like, I can't. But I had a little bit of time. I was like, hey, man, I'll hop in. I didn't mean to steal anybody's thunder. I was just really trying to help you guys
dude,
out.
You're always welcome, man. BGST, brother. Like whenever you feel the need, you can always DM me and just hop in, man. I love talking games with you, with Next Gen, with everybody, dude.
Yeah, man. It's I this is the truth, man. That's why I do so many videos about the X, man. I'm just like, I've never been as excited for a console before in my life. I really, and I know this sounds stupid too. I'm really hoping they bring out some VR for the One X. I know that sounds lame, but I like VR.
Maybe next year, man. Next year.
Yeah, what it's like. So that's basically what I use my PS4 for right now, is just the VR stuff. So I'm hoping Microsoft does it, because I got a feeling that it's going to be better on the more powerful system. I'd maybe give Fallout a try in VR, Doom in VR. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really more of an Xbox dude, and then by default I have to use PSVR because that's the only thing available to me. So, but I much prefer what Microsoft is doing, and I like pretty much everything they're doing. Now, when they fuck up, I'll call them out. Like these spam bots, I get 10 a day.
Dude, I'm gonna make a video on that, man.
Yeah, I get 10 a day, right? Like, it's fucking terrible. They're like, and some of them you can't really tell unless you go to the profile, and then you can see that they don't have any friends or gamer score or anything like that. So then you're like, okay. But sometimes they'll be like, "Como estás?" and I'll respond. You know what I mean? And I'm like, rack them up, and then they're just like, I saw you in this blah blah blah, you know what I mean? And you respond, and they're like, where'd you go? And then it just goes back and forth till you block them. So I get like 10 a day, and it sucks for me because I respond to all the people that take the time out of their day to write me on Xbox Live. Right. And so when I get spam, that's annoying, So I hope they fix that shit soon.
Well, yo, crap, you brought something up.
It's been a while since they brought that shit back, though, too.
Well, crap.
It's been a while.
Crap brought something up that I really want to touch base with everybody on the panel as well. When it comes to the One X, a lot of, with the One X, you're going to see improvement even on your HD TV now. You're going to see a graphical improvement and stuff like that. And I know, like, people from Xbox have talked about it, but I got to ask you guys, and I'm gonna start with Crap, and everybody kind of like chime in when you want to on this. Do you think that they should, with the way things are going now with 4K TVs, I know they're becoming the norm. It's not really there yet. Do you think they should really have that be like a part of the marketing for the One X and really put it out there that you don't need to get a 4K television yet. You'll still see a great improvement on your games with the TV you already have. Yeah.
You know, I think that they should maybe point out that you can get an advantage because games are going to play better and look better even on a 1080p TV, but also push the whole idea that, you know, 4K is the future. It's got a heavy adoption rate and you will get the most out of 4K with HDR. Because for me, the HDR is, if you play Gears or Forza Horizon 3 in HDR, it's like an unbelievable thing.
You don't go back, basically, right?
Yeah, it is. It is like you just, I mean, it's hard to explain, but it is nice. And so for me, the fact when we were watching E3 and then you see that all those games, because remember, we haven't seen a lot of HDR games outside of first party for Xbox One S. So to see so many developers adopt that now, with the X coming, like you can tell that Microsoft has some clout. Obviously, the Pro supports HDR and the PS4, whatever, supports fake HDR. Although people still come at me saying it's not fake HDR, and I'm like, Don. I even tagged Don one time on Twitter. I'm like, he'll explain it. It's not the same HDR as.
It's not the same, but I mean, developers can utilize similar features on that platform, but they have to do all the work, right?
Yeah,
it's built into the API on the Xbox side of things. So, you know, mentioning HDR, which also is kind of crazy, is, you know, I've been playing around because I have all the resources here, right, with 4K and HDR. And what's interesting that I've noticed is there's certain finite details that are picked up on shaders on models in 4K that you just can't see at the 1080p resolution. You just don't come up. And they're small and they're subtle. Like, so games that really are going to show that off, I really think, is Forza. Look at Forza. Like, if you have multiple televisions in your house, you say if you got one 4K and you got one 1080p, and you pick up an X, what I'm going to encourage the audience to do is, if you pick up that game, play it on your 4K television. Obviously, that same system can downsample to your 1080p television. Play it on your 1080p television, and tell me you don't notice a difference in the HDR detail that's there in just the way the light will hit the reflection off the surfaces of those cars. It's quite a bit different. Like, I was downplaying like 4K and HDR, the wombo combo right there. Like, I thought it was always more about the HDR, and I still believe that, but 4K does play a big factor into how HDR applies to shaders. So, yeah, it's quite a bit different on that front. So
you can hear Don kind of like drooling in the background. You can tell like he is graphics in terms of development. He's like, oh yeah, that wombo combo.
It is. It's a game changer. Like, and I had heard from people like Tim Dog, who was at E3, and he's like, when you play like Gears and
he's talking about Gears like crazy, dude.
Yeah, like I'm super excited to get that update as well. And like I said, like Forza Horizon 3, like imagine playing. I don't know if you guys have, but like the because I don't know who here has a HDR 4K TV, but that Hot Wheels thing set up in HDR, like it's so gorgeous. Like the colors just pop. Yes. It's like on a different level. Yes. So like colorful games like Crackdown 3, that game in HDR is going to really pop. You're going to like the colors and all that. That's why I'm really excited for it. Yeah. So, you know, I'm more excited for what Microsoft is doing. Sea of Thieves is a game that's going to totally pop in HDR. You know, so again, it's hard for me to kind of convey that like without sounding ungenuine, or people go, oh, it's just like he's kissing ass or whatever.
You don't have a way to show him, really, man.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but like for me,
there's a way to show them. You just have to stare at the sun for a while, and that's kind of what it's like playing a game in non-HDR after you played HDR for so long, right? Like everything just looks washed out. Like the color is still there; it's still the same level of color, but you're just like, oh, but there's something better now. And it's hard to go back sometimes.
So when you hear that, like you can ask Mooch even, because that dude bought an OLED. But I mean, I guess when you got those that kind of bucks. But anyway, like I mean, I'm not busted enough to get that kind of shit. But still, when you and it's not overselling it, man. Trust me, when you play it, a game with HDR, it pops like no other, and you will just like want to play and play and play, and that you can't oversell that. I think that that's something that people. You're gonna try and you're gonna be like, man, I remember Crap saying this, and it's the truth. You know, like the HDR seems like it brings much more to the table to me anyway. That well, it's again like I've experienced some HDR on some PS4 games. So it's not saying like the Xbox One X doesn't have like higher resolution than 1080p. So HDR really pops on that. Whereas on the PS4 Pro, some of the games are higher resolution and then also have HDR. So I guess that would be a little bit better. But I'm really excited to see what the X does with like some of the 4K stuff with HDR, like Assassin's Creed. That game looks phenomenal.
Dude, I actually what you said about Crackdown, man, you got me thinking because the art style of that game and what they're doing with like kind of like the villains in the story campaign, where as you agitate them, they're gonna use like the big screens throughout the city, you know, that's next to the neon lights and stuff.
Yeah.
To really go at you and to see that all with more color range there, man, that's gonna be jaw dropping.
Exactly. Like people forget all about that. You know what I mean? That's an HDR game, Dolby Atmos game. It's going to be using the cloud compute for the destruction. It's got 4-player co-op. It's got like improvements and stuff. Hey, Dark Optimus, I forgot you were here, but hey, what's up?
I was going to get him into the conversation.
I was just, it's all right. It's all right. I was.
Optimus is just, he's in a bad
Optimus is my
situation,
number one fan, man. He's like, oh man.
Listen,
last night he was on GRG and I went on a crazy ass.
Hold on 1 second. Okay?
Like, oh, man,
I was
so
falling asleep listening to crap talk about fucking Sea of Thieves. Okay, this motherfucker talks about Sea of Thieves more than fucking Moose talks about fucking Titanfall 2. All right.
Hey, I love the game though,
but
man.
it is fun.
It is, man. It's a fantastic game, dude. I think it's gonna be fun. Look, man, I'll look forward to playing it with your ass, man.
Yo, crap.
Yeah,
I am so happy, man.
Make me walk that fucking plank. I'll be like, yo, Optimus, man, take that fucking height,
Get
bro.
the fuck out of here.
All right.
No, but I'm just like, you know, I'm excited for the stuff that they have upcoming, man. You know what I mean? It's
No,
like
for sure.
to me, the stuff that they're doing with the console and the games, like PUBG, has me excited because I like multiplayer games, and that is a competitive game that seems like it's going to get your, you know what I mean? You're going to get excited. You know, it's like, you know, you're going to be fucking like, I remember Gears 3 used to have this capture the leader mode that was fucking heart pounding, right? Like they capture you and your teammates would have to throw a smoke to get them to drop you. And it was like, oh man, they're going to get me this time. And then they'd save you at the last minute. They'd throw a smoke like across the fucking map. And you'd be like, damn, man, it was like, that was what I like. I love those types of games where it comes down to the last second. And that's what that kind of reminds me of. So the games that they have coming out, I'm way more excited for the games and the consoles that Microsoft has than what Sony has. Not to say that some of their games won't be good. I'm sure some of them will be when they should come out, like God of War and Spider-Man. I'm excited for those games. But again, I like Microsoft's future a lot more than what Sony has right now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I'll tell you now, I have
Speak
like
on
80 hours of PUBG right now. I love that game.
80 hours.
Yeah, see,
on
you're,
Pub?
yeah.
Yeah.
That shit gets intense, doesn't it, Predator?
Yeah, it does, man. Like, I got my first chicken dinner the other night. Fuck yes, finally. And I played the fucking
Nice, dude.
I have
Yo,
not played that game.
Oh, Snaps
or
can't
seen
stand that
any
chicken
gameplay
dinner
of it yet.
stuff now, man. It is all over Twitter and
Chicken
everything.
dinner.
But
Hey,
yo,
what's up? Over 100 people watching, man. Thanks for coming out, man. Supporting the podcast.
now if they would just hit that little thumbs up button over there, we would really be going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. You know what I've noticed, man. That thumbs up, man. That's too much for people. They're like, you know, you get a bunch of motherfuckers watching you, and they're like, I can't be bothered to click a thumbs up on that thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I'm excited for like the games that they're coming out with. Conan Exiles is a game that really has me interested right now as well.
Ark kind of got me concerned with Conan, man. I gotta say, like I've played Ark, and
I don't like Ark either. but you know, there's no dinosaurs in Conan, I don't think. So we might be good. I don't know. Like I don't see how people spent months on Ark. I can remember like Tim and Beard and all these guys. Playing Ark forever, and I just played it, and I was like, this game sucks.
It's that Minecraft
You know what I mean?
aspect to it. It's building. It's kind of like one of the things that Fortnite has going for it right now. But unlike Ark and everything like that, Fortnite is just a great game all around. So
I'm tired of listening
it's
to
not.
you guys about these games, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tired. Hold on. Go ahead, Optimus, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tear in Bot's ass for this.
Come on.
Fortnite is such a fucking boring ass game, dude. I don't know how you play this game. What do you do the whole fucking
Dude,
time?
you didn't even know
you
that.
build that. build a trap house and then freaking let the
Trap house.
Like,
Like,
Fred, I got you on that
so
one.
boring.
Yeah.
A trap house means
So
something
boring.
else where I'm from.
Yeah, I know. Okay, but anyway, okay. All right, this is the thing, right? All right, so all
Hold on,
day,
just
right?
one,
You know what I'm saying?
Mega,
You
just
know.
1 second, yo. Just to let you know, I was on Quest Podcast with Optimus and All Day Digital, right? These guys didn't even know that once their gun broke, if you had a schematic, you could just build it again. They didn't even know that, man. So
Yeah, it's
keep going.
all
Mega.
about crafting, man. You craft your bullets, everything over and
No,
over.
I
again.
knew that. I just didn't care.
Oh.
So check it out, right? Okay, so All Day was the very first one. He was like, "Hey, you know this game? What? So I'm like, "Oh, what's going on with you All Day?" Well, let me tell you what. No, okay, anyway, he just said, he told me that, you know, how he brings up, he says, I'm a champagne drinker, a gamer. I'm a type of gamer. I like this. So Fortnite is that game. It's on my radar. Mega, you a fraud for not having it. I'm like, man, it just doesn't look appealing to me, man. It looks like an Overwatch clone. No, you got to get it. So you know what? I said, all right. I went and got it, right? I got it 2 days ago. So I'm like, all right, I'm finna get ready to jump on it. I didn't see anybody else playing it. I didn't even see Xbot or anybody playing it. So I said, well, I'll wait till somebody start playing it and I'll jump on with them. Last night on GRG, no, I'm sorry, Thursday night.
I was gonna say it wasn't last night.
Yeah,
man.
that wasn't last. No, that wasn't last night. Thursday night on multiplayer. Yeah, for real. Thursday night on multiplayer, brought up about Fortnite, and he and others were saying how bad that game was. That game freaking sucks. It's garbage. I said, you not big, but you sit there and told me that I was a fraud for not getting this masterpiece, and now you're telling me that game is trash and that you got to get your money back. So you know what, Xbox, I just can't listen. First it was Friday the 13th.
Oh no, you
Now you're
hold
talking
me to
about
that.
Fortnite. So now I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with
Hey,
you.
Fortnite is fun with friends, man. Like it is. Like I know what they're saying. Like Fortnite is a lot of fun. I don't think it's anything like Overwatch. It's like a mixture of shit that I've never like really good. It's just the way it's done.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not like
I got my money back up. I got my money back today. So and I didn't
You
even
got your
boot
money
it.
back?
Yeah, I got my money back today. I didn't even boot it because I was just the confusion. Like, you told me this game is fire. I saw you playing the hell out of it with other people, and I'm like, I'm ready to jump in, do some live streaming. Fortnite, you know what I'm saying? The champagnes type of game. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go. Guess what, guys? Here we go. Anybody out there in the chat who bought like a premium or ultimate edition, if you have the standard edition code, please DMK Mega and
No,
give them, don't. Check this out. This is what I want to do.
No,
This is,
me and you are just
Don,
gonna play
calm
it today.
down. I have been trained by Mooch. You shut the fuck up now. All right, yo, here we go. You get him the code, right? I will go in and we will stream this game together, and I will actually show him how good this game really is. And I feel that after we've gone in together, possibly O-Snaps as well, you know, Craps invited to come in with us as well. Once we get in and play that game together, I have a feeling Mega will do a complete 180 on this, and he will be on board when it comes to Fortnite.
No, we do one better. Every time King Megas throws us an invite to play a game, no, dude, I'm just gonna boot up Fortnite until he buys it again. That's what we really should do.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded. But
Thank you, Rand, in the chat saying that Fortnite is the worst.
The worst, man. I played the Order 1886 and I played Killzone Shadowfall. Do you really want to say Fortnite was the worst?
It's still, man. I got me scared because I'm like, I got it. I'm ready to play it, and I'm just like, okay.
Damn, it's like
That's the thing. You're paying for a beta.
Man, I'm getting
what
a refund.
The fuck? $39.99 for a beta.
Well,
Come on.
Yeah,
guys,
that beta is more polished than most full releases.
it is. Like, I don't understand why it's still considered a beta, to be honest with you. Like, you're playing it, and it's a lot of fun. Maybe, you know, like everything is not for everybody, but I was surprised at how much fun I was having when I played the game. You know, so I actually like what they've done with it, and it is, like you said, much more polished. Yeah, it's much more polished than some of the other games that I played that were fully released. And hopefully, because Epic Games hasn't done shit this generation, so it's nice to see that game would have sold 500,000 copies day one.
Yeah.
So I mean that's pretty damn cool, man. It's good to see the success on that. Maybe it's a little bit too much pay to win at some point, but I like it. I think it's refreshing. That's a good way to describe it for me. Refreshing.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say that's another title if it like gets enhanced with the One X with the HDR and everything like that. That is
4K.
title.
Yeah, it's getting
goodness.
It's getting Epic PC settings 4K.
What?
So yeah,
that is gonna be insane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I do want to go back on something else that Crap said.
By the way, I didn't pay for shit, man. Somebody gave me so.
Mooch it. You know what? Just to be in the life.
I didn't mooch it. Someone just offered it to me. So I mean,
just in the life of a Crap gamer, man. I guess. You know what I'm saying? I got to damn near buy everything I got. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, we got Rand in the chat being a hater over here. It's like I got the game for free and I still want to refund it, man.
Oh my god, damn, man.
Oh
man, with the million.
Oh goodness. Well, I'm sorry, Rand, that game isn't like that Barbie video game that you played, but hopefully they're gonna come out with a sequel sometime soon.
Rand missed my shot out early.
Rand likes a lot of single player stuff, and that's really more of something you got to play with friends. So I mean, I can understand why he probably doesn't like that game. But for me, somebody that is a multiplayer gamer, I enjoy it a lot. I think it's pretty damn good.
See, these mixed messages, man, just kill me, man.
Yo, K Mega's confused right now. First
I'm
of all,
confused.
he woke up with a headache this morning, and now he's just confused.
Hey, I'm just happy that he's using a decent pick on his avatar for a change, man. Like he was using those bootleg ones, like the fucking flea market ones, where it's like, hey man, I gave you give me three of those. Give me three of those for 50 cents. I can just picture him doing that.
I gotta get in touch with Jay, man, because I want to get something a little bit more. A little bit more K Mega style.
Man,
that's what I'm talking about, dude. Get him to do one with the cigarettes rolled up in your sleeve, but maybe not wearing that hat.
Garbage. That was garbage. I just was doing that just to clown.
Yo, Rand, I gotta say, man, you're my brother. You know I love you, dude. But I am gonna mess with you about stuff like that all the way through, dude. It's how I show that me and you are friends.
Hey,
man.
Rand. Thanks for giving me the title for my video for tonight, bro. That's what I'm just gonna say, man. I appreciate it, bro.
But yo, guys, I do want to go back and talk about this kind of like this update on the dashboard. Which, yo, Crap, you're the one who told us about it on Crossfire yesterday with the ability to kind of customize your homepage and stuff. I really want to get into the panel. Let's get Adamus talking a little bit. Then we'll go.
Damn, he's still here. Yeah. What's up, Dark Adamus?
Well, I like listening to you guys talk and bicker like fucking little hands and shit.
Wow,
it's great.
Damn, yo, Adamus, man, what do you think about the ability, or the possible ability to customize your homepage? Does this look like something you would be looking forward to in a future update for Xbox One? And like, how would you update it, man? Like, what would you put up there? You could put like your most played favorite games. You can kind of set it up how you want, man. So, do you have any idea of like what indie you would put up there first, yeah?
Oh man, indie, get out of here. That's the thing. Being able to customize your entire dashboard is going to be really cool. I think for myself, I'll probably put up, trophies, things. I mean, not trophies. Jesus Christ!
No, he's gonna put achievements. He's gonna put up his
achievements. I'm still on GRG. That's what happened. GRG.
Is that what happened? Oh, come
right.
on, man.
And no, I'll probably put up, achievements up there. I'll probably put, my favorite games I want to play. It's basically just pinning everything to your dashboard that you want to. Basically what you want to do, you're gonna have like it's kind of like with the Windows Phone where you're able to like pin things in certain areas and stuff and just kind of make it customized to your liking. So I think that in and of itself is a really good thing.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That Xbox.
A lot of people didn't get a phone, so they don't know what you're talking about.
What's
Oh
up, man?
well, Kraft has a Windows phone, so he could tell you.
I had one too.
Yo,
Like, everybody
was
has
that-
a Windows
hold
phone.
on,
What the
Pred,
fuck is
was
that?
was that a dig on
Damn.
Windows Phone right there, man?
No,
man.
actually, my favorite phone was a Windows phone. Actually, I had a
Yeah.
little icon.
Hey,
That's
you know what?
fine.
I still hold out hope that they come out with a Surface phone one day, and I'll buy that shit. You know, I'll splurge on that if they ever do. But I kind of
You're
doubt
holding
that they
on to
will.
hope that they're coming out with apps for that phone too.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, man. As long as they give me some of the Instagrams and the Twitters, I'm good. You know, I'm not.
Do you guys even have Spotify on that?
I want them
thing?
Twitters.
I know, man. I don't do any of that stuff, man. I'm old school, dude. Before I got my Windows phone, that I have now, I just had a fucking flip phone. So, you know, yeah, like I'm not.
iPhone's gonna be a flip phone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not fancy.
yeah,
guys,
one of
man.
those
It's like,
Nextels with the walkie-talkie and it bloop, bloop.
dude, I had one of those for a long ass time, man. It's like, and the Boost Mobiles, I had one of those too. So, it's interesting because it's like as long as I can text, and now I like, you know, because I'm on Twitter a lot and stuff like that. So, like check my emails, text, do the Instagrams, because I got to look at my big booty bitches on there. So, just saying.
Oh man!
Like I get, oh man, okay, man, come on, man. I thought you'd be like, hell yeah, bro.
I like hell yeah, but it just doesn't roll off the tongue very.
I was
very
thinking you were
appealing.
hanging around with Mega maybe a little too much with that,
No, man, but yeah, so I'm not super fancy with that stuff. That's why I never really bother. I mean, I could easily get like an iPhone or an Android or something, but for right now, like when my Windows phones break, I'll probably get maybe an Android or something. But until then, I'm happy with what I got.
Right. Yeah,
I got you, man. But in terms of the dashboard, yo, Predator, like, what do you think about I'm big on customization, man. I've been drawing ever since I was 4 years old. If you give me the tools to make something my own, I love that, man. But what do you think about the possibility of updating your homepage, and then like what would you do with it, man? What would you put up there as like your very first kind of like tile, man?
Honestly, dude, when I turn on my Xbox, I just want to go straight to my games. So I'm just gonna tile it with all the games I play like on a regular basis.
So
That's
have
it.
like a huge pin type thing?
Yeah, just like everything that I play is gonna be right in the front for it. Like the main games I play, maybe Mixer, a couple of small apps on there. But for the most part, when I fire my Xbox, I'm just playing games on it. And if I'm streaming on Mixer, I just need that up there as well. But that's it. Like all this other shit that's on there on the screen half the time, I don't even pay attention to it, dude. I just go straight to the games.
Dude, no media player? Come on, man.
Nope, I don't mess with it.
Dude, you gotta have, like, for me, I have YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, and media player in my pins, man. You gotta have that stuff.
Like, I use Netflix when I was deployed. I used Netflix a lot. I use like all the movie streaming stuff like that. It's going to be on there, but for the most part, like where it is now, the house, like everything I do on it is gaming. Unless I'm in here watching football or something like that. Like I said, I'll put some smaller apps on there, that like maybe like 10 apps. But other than that, it's going to be all my main games.
I put my WWE app on there. That's right, folks.
Oh, really? Yo, crap! I had respect for you before that, man. No,
Come on, man. I'm like, I'm a wrestling fan, man. I can't help it.
I got you. Well, yo, crap, man. I know we talked about it on Crossfire, but why don't you go in? What do you think about that idea for customizing the home screen? And what would be front and center for you, dude?
I think that it's good to give people the options to kind of have their thing tailored to their own taste. Mm-hmm. So I like that idea, and as for me, it's the games. I always put the games that I buy the newest up front. And then of course, like I said, I've got a handful of apps that are mainstays, the media player, Hulu, Netflix, WWE, that kind of stuff. So I'll have a good mix of that stuff. I like the social aspect of that anyway, where your stuff shows up in the feed and your friends and stuff like that, the clubs and that kind of stuff. So I dig what they're doing. What they're doing is really cool. I just hope they fix some of the issues they have with like the YouTube. You load it up and sometimes it doesn't work. You have to like back out of it or whatever.
Google sabotaging that shit.
I know, right, man? It's like, damn, like you gotta sit there, press start, quit app, go back to the dashboard, then restart it again, And it's a pain in the ass. So, and I'm also hoping that, like, I've heard from people that have tried out this new supposed Fluent Design, and it's supposed to work like super fast. So I'm hoping that that's true. Like, that's what everybody wants: super fast, really responsive, and supposedly, according to this, that's what it is. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And then I always have like my newest games there. Let me point out real quick that I am disappointed in something. Like, I bought the season pass. I bought the Halo Wars 2, like the big collection or whatever.
Mhm.
And so the first bit of content dropped, right? So the story content that dropped, you get 5 gamer score for beating that, and it takes like an hour. Like, it was the biggest waste of time.
It took me 3 hours to beat that damn.
Did it? It was like, holy shit! It was like the lamest thing ever. I was like, what the world is this? You know what I mean? Like, they should give you 100 gamer score for beating this shit. It was
Right, yeah. It took me. I don't know which one you did. I did the one where you had to fight that. You had to get checkpoint A, B, C, D, E.
C, D, E. Yeah.
That was insane. It took me
Because it took forever to build up an army big enough to
Yeah.
take everybody out, and they kept on sending those sentinels, and you had to use it was a big pain in the ass. So I was like, last night I booted that shit up, and I was like, okay, so you beat all this stuff, and then I got 5 gamer score for that. I was like,
mad as hell. I was like five.
but I will say, gaming related, I also beat all the DLC for Mafia 3, and that shit was sick. Like Sign of the Times, that last one where it's like all trippy and stuff, and the cult and stuff. That was fantastic. It was like a totally different game.
Really?
Like, the DLC on that shit is so legit. I put so much time into that. Yeah, I put so much time into that game. Like, the DLC is almost like different games. Like, the second DLC, you're like Rambo going into the jungle and shit. The third one, it's like this trippy thing. I had him looking like Jimi Hendrix and stuff. It was pretty. It was cool, man. It was really cool. I love the music in that. Like, that, no lie, is one of my favorite games. I know sometimes there's some issues with it, with bugs and stuff, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. Great game.
It's a great game. Great game.
Yep.
It's nice. Yo, Mega Man, I gotta ask, Mega Man. Yeah, now I hear it. Like, now I fucking hear it. But yo, Mega, when it comes to customizing your home screen, man, I want to hear your thoughts on that, and then I want to hear what you would have up there at the beginning of your homepage when we're able to do this, man.
Well, I'm excited. It's like we've talked about before. I hope this is the last one. I hope this is it.
Thank
I hope
you.
this no more. Let us get used to it. Let us get comfortable, and just tweak it if you need, to make things faster or whatever the case may be. But I'm very excited about it. It's also I'm the Spotify thing is interesting to me because you also still have Groove, and if you are a person that's
I like Groove so much better, dude.
Right. Well, this is the thing that I'm hoping that you could be able to do is basically like have Spotify, because you can get a better music lineup, and then like maybe play your videos off of Groove. You see what I'm saying? And like, try to interact a little bit, or maybe like if there could be an update for Forza to where you can play your Spotify music, or they have like a radio station for just implements the Spotify playlist that you have. I think that would be so dope. So that's huge. I mean, PlayStation has Spotify, and so that's just another win for Xbox, in my opinion, because it evens it out a little bit. And Xbox has just more. It just adds more features for Xbox. As for what about doing my dashboard, I would eliminate a lot of things. I mean, I would have my where I could watch my Rachel Maddow. You know how I'm a big fan of that, and then my Game of Thrones.
You have a pinup picture as a tile of Rachel.
I love my Rachel Maddow, man. And then I can also have my HBO Go, so I can just go straight to watching Game of Thrones, and what I'm saying, and then just have my
fraud,
pinups
Mega.
of my games. Of my games, of the games that I play. I mean, the other stuff that's like on the side, it gets so cluttered. You know what I'm saying? And if there was like a party hangout type of thing, because they said that they're going to be doing some things with the party chat. If there's like a little app for that or something like that, that would be great.
Like that avatar room, right, man?
Right. Yeah. I would put that in there, and then I wouldn't have too many things. Like Predator said, I just kind of want to have my NFL network stuff popping off, and then just go from there. You know what I'm saying? And just whatever games I want to play, boom, that's it.
I forgot about the NFL Network. Good call. That shit's just starting back up, man. Got to pump that shit in there. Assuming my team isn't all injured and in wheelbarrows by the time the
New
season
York
starts.
Football Giants, baby.
You and Mooch, man. God.
Dude, I got requests.
Hey,
better
I
than
know
the
Rachel
Ravens.
is a lesbian, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. I got love. I don't care if she's a lesbian.
I got requests after doing Crossfire, because if people don't know, we had Alex from AR12 Gaming on, and they go big on Forza. So I started showing Alex on Twitter some of my my car vinyl designs, and I showed people the Mets one that I did, and now all of a sudden I got people like, all right, you got to do White Sox, now you got to do New York Giants. Like, I'm like, oh shit, like I got to make my own separate YouTube channel just for like my Forza designs now, man.
Dude, what do you say? His buddy had like 750,000 subs, man. I got to start doing me some Forza content. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's this Forza content. You know, like, damn.
Well,
you know,
dude,
but those people that specialize in that stuff get a lot of hype if they're good at it. Like, I see Destiny YouTubers get a lot of hype with that stuff and a lot of subscribers and things like that. So, but that guy was really cool, man. It was really cool to have him be a part of the podcast. You know, like he knew some cool stuff, and it was interesting to kind of talk about that with him and stuff. It was a good time.
He didn't shy away from like questions. There was a couple things that were a little PR speak, but for the most part, I like how he spoke his mind and he let it be known when we were talking about like media bias and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I love that. I love when people are like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just be honest with people about what's going on. It was a great show Friday, man.
Yeah, it was really good show.
But with that being said, my dashboard, first of all, like I said, customization for me is awesome. I do Forza vinyls, anything I can customize. I love Fortnite and creating my own like home base and stuff like that. So I am down for customizing my home screen. Now, the first things that would be up there, first of all, Halo 5 is a staple. All right, that is the very first thing I put up there. And
Hashtag save Locke.
Now,
Oh my god, he's never coming back, K Mega.
Stop him. He will come back. Yeah,
But-
he will come back.
He died going back to his home planet. Now enjoy Halo 6.
Oh man,
You know what would be the worst if Chief actually dies and he actually ends up using Chief's suit.
Oh, that would be great.
Dude, there would be rioting in
Oh,
the
it would
streets,
be
man.
great.
There would
Man, I
be
have to agree with Bot, man. I'd riot a bit, man. I like the Chief, man. Give
There'd
me
be
the Chief.
pitchforks and torches, and people be yelling Frankenstein and all that good shit, man.
You know what sucks, Bot, about Halo 5? And I know, like, we could talk about Halo all the time with you, but Halo 4's story was so good and so personal, and then they shit the bed.
Like,
Like,
what
they
the
were
hell
like,
happened,
hey,
man?
everybody loved Halo 4's story. Let's go ahead and throw that shit all out the window and bring in all these other characters that nobody cares about. Well, except for Buck. And,
Rob,
you know.
get the fuck out of here.
Except for Buck.
Get out of here.
Well, no, listen, like I
Get
like
out of here. What the hell wrong with Crowd? I'm about to get cussed out.
and then they totally they leave Chief out of it most of the game in Halo 5. So I'm hoping that they do go back to, well, it's got to be a payoff in Halo 6, you know. So
Well, what I'm thinking,
you know.
what I'm thinking with Halo 6 is they already have the infrastructure for the best multiplayer. I am, on the book saying Halo 5 is the best multiplayer this generation, any platform, hands down, right? The 60 frames per second, no drops in frame rate. What they did with the Spartans and their abilities, they fleshed everything out with the whole red versus blue type multiplayer experience. I'm with you with the Halo 4. Halo 4 was one of the best stories in the Halo franchise, if not the best, and I know I'm going to get hate for that. But, they completely did a 180 on that. A lot of people hated Halo 4's multiplayer with the ordnance drops, and they're like, man, they're trying to make this more Call of Duty. So they really focused on the multiplayer with Halo 5, but then what the fuck happened to the story writers when it came to Halo 5? So I'm hoping that Halo 6, since they have the infrastructure for the multiplayer, they don't really have to change too much. They could just add in maps, do what they're doing with the pro players and having them test out the multiplayer, all that good stuff. They could go back and really focus on the story and give that grand scope that Halo is known for,
Yeah, I agree.
As long as Locke
100%.
is involved, that's all I care about.
Well, Locke is now Locke. You don't know this. I have secret knowledge here. Locke is now Master Chief's official secretary, and
Oh shit!
he writes memos and answers phones now. So he's still there, man. You got
so
him.
kind of
And he still
like
talks in that monotone too.
so we're kind of getting what I think you're fantasizing between you and Snap's relationship.
Oh!
I'm sorry.
Hey, I want to say
That
this
was
real quick. Like for me personally, Halo 4 had the best story, followed by Halo Reach. Like I was never like a huge fan of, like, a lot of people were like, Halo 2 had a great story. I'm like, Halo 2 just cut that shit off like out of the blue.
I was so
Like, to
mad.
me, that was like that wasn't good at all. Halo 1 had a really kind of lackluster story, but it kind of draw you in. Halo 3 story I thought was pretty good, but Halo Reach I thought had a fucking fantastic story, hit you right in the feels. And Halo 4, same thing, like really
Yeah.
good in point.
Four
story.
was
And
the
then-
I
best
think
story
Halo's
overall.
5
Yeah.
story, they try to copy actually the Lightning in the Bottle, which was Halo 2's story. But that wasn't Lightning in the Bottle, that was just an accident, right?
Yeah.
So like, I think that's what they tried, because they tried to leave it on some weird cliffhanger. They try to make sure you play a different character than Master Chief. That, like, if you look at it, it looks like they try to formalize that game story and then implement it into 5. But back to the dashboard thing, I think options are great when you can
I
feel
was trying
the
to
tiles.
skip you, Don. I was.
But I'll tell you what,
You know.
I'm a little bit worried for Snaps on this, because I see how she plays the Fortnite game and how she likes to customize things. I don't think she'll be able to find anything on her dashboard if this update happens. Like, no joke. Like, I can see her just getting upset, and then Bot having to reorganize her dashboard. Like, this is not going to be good for your relationship there, Bot. I'm just going to say that right
and
now.
then she's a
Well-
typical woman. She's going to want stuff to be changed like every 3 hours. So
Well,
yeah,
at least
you're
there's
in
a
trouble.
need. There's a need for Xbot. Then there's a need to have me around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
sure,
could be a
sure.
good thing. But yo, when it comes to Snaps and kind of like building and stuff like that, you talk about Fortnite. Yo, she thoroughly impressed Mooch, and huge shout out to Sajibot as well, because we went in with Mooch and Sajibot to play Fortnite, and she went in and she built everything, man. We were hanging back, like sipping beer and smoking cigars, and she's over there just building away.
It's like a beautiful mind when you walk into her world. It's just organized chaos everywhere.
See, now y'all make me want to play the damn game. See,
It's
this
a good
is
game.
Ridiculous.
See, yep.
I'm
And
not buying it again. I'm
I'm
not
not
buying
buying it again.
it again.
Yo,
So
we're getting close to the end. There's one more topic I want to kind of touch base on with everybody, and that is an actual developer coming out in Xbox defense in terms of all the negative media. And Crap has been on an absolute tear on his YouTube channel lately, man. It's just video after video. My phone is blowing up because I got notifications for his channel, and it's just like, this is another video, it's another one. Yo, Crap, do you think I'm gonna make you work, man? I hope you don't mind here. But
Crap's getting ready
it's all
for
good.
Christmas. That's what he's
Do you
doing.
think
Shit,
you
he
can
got
break-
plenty to buy.
do you think you could break down like kind of what happened? What developer is kind of in Xbox's corner?
Are you talking about the Mad Bellows guy? The one he made a game called Arrow,
Yeah,
which is like
that's
an
exactly
indie game,
the
right?
one.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
made it. But what he said was he was really tired of the negativity that comes with announcement at E3. He doesn't understand it. He's a big Xbox fan. He likes Xbox because that's where his friends are, and he likes achievements. And he has a PlayStation 4 as well because he likes their exclusives. And he was just kind of tired of the bullshit and the way everybody's so negative about everything Xbox related, and that it was a really powerful machine. So I think that, I like that, because the thing is, like, the reason why people, I think, watch like my channel and like your guys' channels and stuff like that, if you do like the pro Xbox stuff, is because you don't see that stuff in the mainstream media. Like, look, where's IGN's article about these leaks on what's coming to the Xbox One? When do they talk about anything? Like, Mikey Barra tweets out about how the dashboard's going to be different, and you get crickets from everyone, right?
Mhm.
So you got to go to other sources to get that. And when you look around and you see people hating on the X, even, how can you do that? So that's why it's always good, and I always try to look for the positive stuff. It's easy to find negative stuff about everything, but for me, it was like all about the positive stuff. And to see a developer come out and say, "Hey, this thing is really good," I'm always going to jump on that video where the developers are saying, "We love this thing. It's exactly what we asked for." because I think that that's really what's going to help the Xbox in the long run. And I don't really hide the fact that I think that they're going to take back the United States in terms of sales with the Xbox One X, not worldwide, but I think that a lot more people are going to buy the X than people think.
Right.
And like I said, I did research for this video too, where I pointed out that the company that does the Blu-rays for Microsoft's games, they're down 50%. You can chalk some of that up to digital, but at the other point, they're saying, hey, people are anticipating the X, and so they're holding off on buying games, which is something that I believe to be true too, because I did a video weeks ago saying, hey, that's a problem. People aren't buying the S right now, and they're not buying games because they want to wait for the Xbox One X. And I can see that because in my mind, there's some games that I contemplating not buying because I'm like, I want to play that on the X before anything else. Like for me, Forza 7, I'm probably still going to buy that day one because I love Forza, but I really want to play that on the X. I kind of want to hold out.
Yeah.
Right.
Shadow of War is another one. I really want to play that in 4K on the X. But I might buy that, when it comes out as well. But maybe I'll wait. I don't know. It's like
I'm gonna tell you something, crap. You're gonna want to try some of these newer games right before the X, and then when you plug in the X, to just get that wow factor. Like I think Forza is going to be one of those good ones. I wouldn't do it like a story-based game because then you have to go back through the story and all that sort of stuff. But something like Forza, where like the campaign is just leveling.
Forza.
Leveling up.
Hey, I love Forza. Man, look, dynamic weather. That thing is like, whew, man. That game is really, really something that I'm looking forward to as well. So
check this out. This is what's really crazy. I just recently went back and beat the first Forza Horizon, and that game is beautiful. That game is absolutely beautiful. I got some gameplay that I want to show of it, and it's like I'm like, this game is like.
Did you like the wristbands on that better? Like to me, I liked how you worked your way up.
I do. I did like that.
I like
better.
that
and
better.
You know what? It's kind of like with me because I'm on this Forza kick right now. So I'm going and I'm playing Forza 2 right. I'm playing Horizon 2 right now. So I can.
You're playing on your 360.
No. I was playing backwards compat on the Horizon 1.
Nice.
Oh, okay, yeah. Horizon 1 is back compat. I forgot all about that shit.
And I went and I beat it, and now I'm over here on Forza 2 because I want to beat it, and then I'm going to jump on 3. But it's the thing of it's like that game still holds up. It still looks so good, and I'm just confused. Like, how can anybody hate on Forza or any of these games that look good? They run bad. They got so much longevity. You know what I'm saying? It's bizarre to me.
Yeah,
it's so
bro.
bizarre.
I got over 1,000 gamer scores on Forza Horizon 1. I wasn't expecting much from that game when it released, right? And then I just fell in love with that game. I was like, this is my favorite racing game of all time. Like Forza Motorsport 3 and 4 are also fantastic fucking games. Like I've got well over 800, 900 gamer score on both of those. I just put so much time in it, and they still look good with what they were doing. Like you could just tell that those games are absolutely fantastic, and the amount of content on like Forza Motorsport 3 and 4 is insane. They've done a fantastic job. I've really been sold on those games. Like Forza 7 is probably one of my most anticipated titles, and it's a showpiece for the X. Exactly. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Like that is going to be a real showpiece with the 4K assets and all that kind of stuff. So 100 gigs, but damn, man, that's going to be nice.
It's going to be worth it. And another thing that I wanted to bring up was, okay, you're absolutely right, because when I was looking for topics to talk about on GRG, every place that I was looking and I was reading, they would talk about the Spotify thing. Every news article, they'll talk about Spotify, and Xbox was going to add other features. Little paragraph, that's it, done, gone. You know what I'm saying? Nowhere near as detailed as what you were bringing up on what you was bringing up on your video. And then like when I did go and find actually a site to go and where they were really breaking down of what was coming, it was what you served in the link. That was the only place that you could find it. And you know what I'm saying? And like today I was at GameStop, and I'm going and I'm looking and they're showing PlayStation 4 games in the kiosk, PlayStation 4 games on the kiosk. The Xbox kiosk wasn't even on.
Yeah, it wasn't the old school one with the half of Xbox One.
No. It
Connect.
Yeah, you know what? God damn it, it was the one with
Yeah.
Connect. I just seen it. I just remember. Yeah, I was like, it wasn't with the Connect. Hot
They're
damn.
like, play the latest games, Forza Horizon 2.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm like, update this shit, man. But I was just like, man,
Yeah.
it's wild, man. They
Yeah, it is crazy. But you know what's cool is this, right? Like so many people are going to get like all of us are going to get it. So the content creators are going to get the X. We're going to be putting out the videos, even on the way they compress shit on YouTube. You're going to be able to tell the difference. And I think that people are going to be excited by that because it's up to us to kind of share the good stuff. I mean, if there's bad stuff, I'm not saying you can't talk about any of the bad stuff, but I think it's up to us as content creators and influencers to actually kind of share the good news and not worry about a lot of the nonsense because you let people try to bring you down or you know, you got the people that are doing bullshit videos about you. And I got a shit ton of people doing videos about me, but I never let it get to me because it's always just about the gaming stuff for me.
Right.
And so many people message me and they're like, crap, man, it's good that, you know, you cover the good stuff because there's so much bad stuff out there. I'm like, exactly. You know, and that's what I always reply with, exactly, because you can get bad stuff anywhere. But for me personally, it's all about the joy and the happiness and the fun of game. And I own all the stuff, man. I own a Switch that I like a lot too. I like, you know, PS4 has some cool stuff. I mostly just play it for VR right now, but I enjoyed Crash. You know, the Xbox though, that's where I've got like almost 500 games. So that's where I'm going to spend most of my time. And all that stuff comes over with me. Like the ability to bulk transfer my stuff now really is cool because it means I'll be able to move my shit over faster when I get my X, and I'm just going to like, boop, switch out my external drives and ready to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I actually taught somebody on Twitter because they were like, man, this is going to take forever to transfer my, you know.
One at a time. When I did that, when I got my my S, you have to move the games one at a fucking time. It was horrible.
Yeah, so, but I let him know.
Yeah,
like,
that was huge right there.
Whatever his favorite games are, put them on your external now because he was going to get an S is what he was going to get.
Yeah.
I was like, well, just put your favorite games on the external now, and then when you do get the S, when you bring it home, you'll have those games ready. I believe She-Wolf chimed in and let him know, yeah, all you have to do is put in your account information on the system and then plug in your external, and you're good to go, at least with the games that you play the most.
Yeah.
And then you could just download everything else kind of like at your leisure, man.
Yeah,
I
it took me 3 days. It took me 3 days to get all my games on there, and I got close to 400 games right now. So
Guys, I haven't upgraded my system since the Elite Xbox One came out. Can you imagine? I got every single like download and update for Halo 5. I got, you know, the Forzas. I got like, man, I have so much memory that has to go over to the X when I get it. It's gonna. It's a lifesaver that you could do it in bulk now, though. That's going to be amazing.
That is a definite lifesaver. Yes.
All right, but with that, we went a little off track. I do want to know, Predator, when it comes to this dev coming out, and basically, you know, he's an Xbox fan. He sees the good on that platform. He's tired of the negativity, especially, you know, with the E3 presentations. Anytime good news comes out, you have the gaming media kind of like surgically deconstructing it and pointing out weird things and always having Xbox under the magnifying glass. Do you feel like it seems like more and more devs are coming out and saying, hey, you know what, developing on the X is great? Do you think that this might actually be a wave starting from the developers and eventually possibly getting to the gaming media sites where they kind of give Xbox its props or its due?
Well, yeah, I do, but it's like, you know, from what I've seen so far, when it comes to the X, it's usually the smaller devs, and you have these larger devs coming out and, you know, trashing Microsoft for whatever reason. And what we really need is for not just the devs to start saying positive things about the Xbox One X, but we need the media to start saying positive things about the Xbox One X, and that's not happening yet. So it's a slow transition. I'm sure once people get their hands on the X, that they'll start seeing the power and seeing the difference a game, the way the games look and play and feel, and maybe they'll start transitioning over. But you have a couple of, I wanted to say this a couple of weeks ago when we were on Crossfire. Like, you have a couple of news media outlets that they've had these people sitting in these positions for so long, they need to move out and move in brand new blood, you know, to like
You're
maybe
fired.
younger blood. Yeah, basically, maybe like younger, or maybe even this more gaming centric people who they don't have their own bias towards one system or the other. They have to be neutral. And I know a lot of people don't want to play, like they don't want to hear the term neutral gamer, but in the media, they have to be able to go out there and talk about games from a perspective that they don't have a favorite. They have to be able to do that for us to enjoy as gamers and consumers, to actually be able to make our own decisions instead of them forcing us to make a decision based off of what they're saying, because they have their own bias involved in it. So I like the fact that devs are coming out now and saying positive things about the X. I just really wish that Microsoft would come out and say more positive things about the X. I know it's coming soon at Gamescom, but I think the transition that we've had between E3 and the time that we actually are able to pre-order it, that gap that we've had, they've lost a lot of people because they haven't talked about it enough. They're letting other outlets do it for them. They're letting like developers do it for them when they need to be the front runners and the ones coming out and just, pushing it hard for the consumers to see that they're behind it and that they're positive towards it. Right now, it seems like it's little bits here, a little Taco Bell commercial, a little bit of Xbox Game Pass. They need to pull their fucking pants up and say, look, this is what we got. Let's go. Yeah. I mean, like, it's coming soon and everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to play it. Everybody wants to see games running on it. And it's like a slow bleed right now. And I think everybody just wants that shit in bulk right now.
Yeah, I do have to say.
That boy was preaching. That boy, I was about to turn on that church music. He was preaching.
Yo, I got to say, huge shout out again to Mike Ibarra, because he's doing what I thought, other Xbox guys would be doing after E3. You know what I'm saying? I know crap. You've heard me on BGST and on Crossfire. I was like, when it talks about like Kumbaya and stuff, I was like, once they unveil the X and everything like that, it's going to be all Xbox from there on out. They're
You thought so?
Yeah, and I was disappointed to see that it wasn't.
I thought so too.
It wasn't really happening, but yo, shout out to Mike, because he's doing exactly what I thought they were going to do. You can praise a game that's on another platform and stuff like that, but when it comes down to it, you got new hardware coming out. You're pushing the industry forward. When you unveil it, you need to go all out from there until release and really show people what you have to offer in terms of gaming for the gamers and for the industry. And it's great to see Mike doing that, man. I know Aaron wants to. I can swear, because Aaron is Aaron Greenberg. He is that type of dude, man. He will go for the throat, especially on social media. And I feel like there's some things that are holding him back there. But it's good to see Mike doing that. I want to see the rest of the team kind of adopt that mentality going into the release of the X and really, just go all out. Let everybody know that you have the best console. It's releasing this holiday. There's a lot to offer with it. It's not just about native resolution, but there's so much more that the X offers, and really put that out there, man.
Right. Yeah. There was something that Kellen was saying that about, I don't like seeing people fired or anything like that, but definitely Ryan McCaffrey needs to be replaced as the guy for, the Unlocked podcast. That it's not pro Xbox anymore. It's pro neutral. And look, when you have a pro Sony show, you know what I'm saying? When you have people that's pro Sony this, pro PC that, and then when you talk about the Xbox, it's kind of like, well, you know what? It seems cool, but then let's talk about the bad things that's going on with Xbox first. That right there is the problem. Like, it's fine to have pro shows for the individual, for the individual consoles, but if you just kind of push away, one company, then what I'm saying, it doesn't make any sense. It's you're just bringing it out and showing your bias for no reason. I don't know if Ryan McCaffrey's got burnt out or if he's just he's got things going to it. He's just not caring that much about gaming.
It was a pro Xbox podcast when it was called Three Red Lights. Like I'm not joking. Like, if you go back to what they used to do for Xbox podcast back then, I mean, they would crack jokes and call Microsoft out on things, but at the same token, they were pro Xbox guys. They were excited about the platform, right? and they even named their podcast after kind of a joke, right? But at the end of the day, it still was more pro Xbox than what Xbox Unlock is.
Yeah,
and I don't think Ryan has seen that. Like, people that live in, and this is not a dig at people, everyone lives in San Francisco, but I used to live near the Bay Area.
You sound like Mooch.
But they live in a bubble. They don't grasp a broader perspective that's outside of there. So whatever's going on culturally in that area, that's their world. They don't understand that there's some people that are just love Xbox or love this other platform or whatever it may be, or what the reasons are, because they live in their bubble and that's their world. They don't have a broader understanding. That's just kind of how that neck of the woods is. I
feel like just real quick, I feel like Ryan McCaffrey. What happened with him? His passion used to be gaming. If you notice his tweets and everything now, everything is all about Tesla. His Tesla show this, his Tesla show that. I feel like he has kind of moved on in his life past gaming to this whole thing. He's absolutely in love with Tesla. You know what? Why not take a different kind of like job within the company or something like that and focus on what your passion is now. If you're not into the gaming anymore and stuff like that, then it's time for you to move forward and not keep that show down and really kind of twist it into something that it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's the thing. And then somebody in the chat is saying that I'm full of shit. What did I say that was full of shit? I mean, that's what I want to know. I'm like, Ryan McCaffrey does not look like he's fully invested. If you watched him years ago to you watch now, it's not the same. He's talking about everything else on Twitter, baseball, Tesla, what I'm saying, everything else other than talking about gaming. And that to me, it seems like he's ready to make a career change. He really is. Well, the weight of the console war has gotten to him just like it's gotten to so many other of the older, podcasters and TV.
I'll point this out too, K Mega, is the fact that there's no pro Xbox like person in the media the way that there are like unapologetic PlayStation dudes like Greg Miller and those guys. You know what I mean? Like those guys are unapologetically PlayStation dudes. There is nobody that excited or like on the Xbox side in all the media, or if there is, I don't know about them. It's interesting because Ryan used to be really pro Xbox, but now it's like for some reason like pro Xbox dudes think that they lose credit if they're not bitching about Xbox.
Right.
And you don't lose credit if you're not bitching about Xbox. You're not keeping it real. You're just piling on when it's not necessary. You know what I mean? Like if there's something necessary to bitch about, then bitch about it. But it seems like a lot of these quote unquote Xbox dudes find bullshit reasons to complain about the Xbox just because it's popular to complain about Xbox. And that to me is absolutely fucking stupid and ridiculous.
Right. And then another thing though, that's another thing that pisses me off is that, okay, we've had people that's been on this podcast that's here with us from the very beginning, and then all of a sudden they vanish. Then the next thing that that they're talking about pro Sony stuff. They're bringing up the pro Sony propaganda pieces. They're talking about sales and analytics and all that other dumb shit. And then they're over there talking about how great their PlayStation games is, and that's fine. PlayStation do have some great games, but then if you see them say something about that was that a lot of Xbox people will say that's positive, then they'll jump in and say, no, that's not true. That's a bunch of fraud. I'll believe it when I see it. What happened to you in between that time where you were all pro Xbox to now you over here, nut hugging Sony? What happened? What happened to these people?
I love that.
That's what it is.
And I think that's what it is. There's a lot of fake gamers out there in the game. I mean,
it's also clickbait, man. It's also all clickbait and shit like that. But to speak on, the whole Arrow developer coming out and saying that this negativity needs to stop is a good thing, because we have too much negativity in our lives already with work or whatever.
Trump.
To hear about Xbox getting bashed over some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, I've never heard people bash Xbox as much as I have this generation, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I can't fathom the fact that people are going out of their way to just bash Xbox, and for these developers to come out here and say, hey, Xbox is doing its thing and it's really easy to develop for, and we're putting, we're taking our games and putting them into 4K within matter of minutes, matter of hours, matter of seconds, shit like that. That's great. And then we hear people on the other side are like, oh yeah, this is shit. Fucking these developers don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's a shot at Cliffy B, if you guys don't know who that motherfucker is. When he came out and talked about that really irked me, because I was like, dude, you used to tout about Xbox and say, how much you love developing for it, and then now you're like completely like, no, bro.
Well, that's because that's where the money was
don't
coming
get an
from.
Xbox One X.
That's where the money was coming
what are you
from,
doing, man? Plus, your game is fucking trash too. So don't even get me started on that fucking game.
But back to what you were saying. Like I've always said, Xbox they can't win all three, right? You can't win the media, the developers, and the gamers, right? So pick two that you're going to be able to win, right? And then that's where you're going to be successful. All you need is two, because it makes the other person look like an idiot, right? Mm-hmm. So if you win over developers, which we're seeing, right, firsthand, and how you do that, you give them more power and you make your hardware easy to develop for. Those are two things that developers will always fall in love with you for. They'll even hate to love you sometimes, but they'll still love you because you gave them those two things, right? Mm. And then you win over the gamer, right? And the gamers, there are obviously there's these fans on one side that are fighting against this change, right? But I would say most gamers are embracing what the X is, even if they're not planning on buying it this year, right? Games are going to look better. Games are going to be able to play better, play more consistently, right? My library of either controllers or accessories and all that stuff carries over to my next console. I don't have to buy all that stuff again. These are all pro-consumer moves, and that's what wins over the consumer. So what you're left with is the media is they look for what they really are, right? They're shown for what they really are, and instead of just getting with the times and actually reporting the news, what they're doing is they're getting involved in the console conflict war of consoles instead. And then what happens? It leaves people like Crap Gamer open to report on the news.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Oh, they get mad at people like Crap Gamer or anybody else on YouTube reporting the gaming news, right? And the reality is they shouldn't be mad at them. They should just do their job.
Do their job, exactly.
Do their job, and that's what's really going on. So it is good when you hear developers actually speak their mind, regardless of small, big, or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And those things are just as important to be heard as well, too, right? When something's difficult to program for, or a particular feature set didn't work on a piece of hardware, that needs to be publicly known, from the gamer, other developers, and that sort of thing, because that gives them a voice. So that particular platform or competing platform can address those problems, right? Mm-hmm. So gaming can get better. So, this is a very good pro thing in regards to that. You don't have to be very specific on who you're talking about. You don't have to call a particular outlet out or anything like that. Just the general tone of the conversation. It's just like, what are you guys doing? This is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, everybody's got his back. Gamers have got his back, right? Other developers have got his back. So he's not on a lonely island. The person on a lonely island are the IGNs, are the GameSpots of the world, and they need to change their business model. Otherwise, they're going to be forgotten.
Nice, great points.
That was some good preaching. I think that's already happening. That's why they're jumping on this bandwagon. That's why I think a lot of them that they're preaching about PC is because they want that PC crowd to kind of take over that space of the consoles, because they put themselves in a corner.
Oh, did we lose him?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Did you hear me?
Oh, no, man, you blacked out. I think your computer might be having that drink you had last night, man.
See, there you go. No, I was just saying that. No, because if it was doing that, it would be doing some crazy shit, Jack. But no, no, I'm just saying that I think that's why these companies, these news media outlets, is trying to praise PC. You hear them talk about more about PC than we've ever heard before, because they want that audience as well. because they put themselves in a corner, basically. You know, they find themselves like, okay, we're investing into the console war. Now, what do we do to keep ourselves relevant? So now they're trying to talk about how great PC gamers are. But see, I think the problem with they're going to have a problem with that as well, because PC gamers, they like to listen to YouTubers and people amongst their own, not to some outsider that they don't necessarily care about.
Yeah, I got you, man. That is, I don't know. When it comes to PC gaming, I know AMD is kind of revolutionizing what is going on in terms of price point and stuff like that when it comes to gaming on a PC. But at the end of the day, I love the ease of being a console gamer. I love the ecosystem of Xbox Live, and those things I don't see PC gaming ever kind of like replicating, and those are a couple of main reasons why I'm a console gamer. So people can tout PC all they want. They can talk about, you know, having 6K on a game and doing 240 frames per second. That stuff doesn't even interest me right now.
The game is like trash.
You know, you have to update your drivers and everything like that. There is so much manual labor, in my opinion, and from what I've seen and talking to friends that are in the PC gaming space. Is it getting better? Yes, but there's still a lot to it that I don't want to deal with. I just want to, you know, start up the game and play. And with that, I will be forever a console gamer. You know what I'm saying? But on that note, I think we've come to the end of the show. I feel like, it's been an absolutely great time tonight. I've had a lot of fun talking these topics, you know, with the panel. And whoever let Crap in, man, that was awesome as well. Crap, it is always a blast talking games with you.
Hell yeah, man.
You know,
glad I could come in and help out and have some fun, man. It was always a good time to talk with you guys, and I like talking gaming, man, and I haven't done any kind of guest spots in a while, so I figured I'd come in and talk some gaming, man. I stayed later than I wanted to. I was having such a good time, you know. So
nice. Well,
you took over the whole goddamn show. You started talking.
I know, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like, hey, it's different when you don't got a host, right? Yeah, it's like you just like kind of open up more and talk more, not to worry about, oh shit, is that dead air? What do you talk about? You know what I mean? Like when I'm hosting, I've got two screens open. I've got shit going on. You know what I mean? It's like it's a lot different. So it's a lot more relaxed for me to just come in and guest on something. So.
Well, yeah, dude, we got to get you back on as a special guest with all the special guest bells and whistles, gameplay going on, all that good stuff, man.
Well, yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, I was doing my best K Mega imitation. How did I do, yo?
Hey, everybody's doing that, man.
Everybody loves to imitate K Mega, man. I need to get paid for some of this shit.
And we'll be on BGST tomorrow too. So I heard we might be going a little bit earlier than normal. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes.
Nice. I just wait for the DM when somebody says the time, and I'm like, all right, I'm there. That's what it is, man.
Oh man, Z got to get that work tonight. He got to get that work tomorrow. He got to get it. Because on multiplayer, he took a massive L. That was so damn funny. No. Yes.
Well, since we're going in and doing plugs and everything like that, Crap, why don't you let people know what you've been up to? I know you talked about BGST. If there's anything else you want to announce, you know what?
MNC mornings tomorrow morning at 11. We're doing the game raffle for the Patreon supporters tomorrow. There's also other giveaways and stuff that we're doing as well. So that's going to be on my channel tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Then BGST is going to be sometime tomorrow afternoon as well. So a lot of cool stuff. Channel Crap Gamer Reviews, always kind of videos dropping all the damn time on there. So make sure you guys check that shit out. Appreciate it.
Nice. And Crap, like I said, man, we got to get you on. Special guests, gameplay running, everything. We got the new setup, man. Your gameplay is going to take up pretty much the whole screen. Dude, we got to get that done as well, man.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely, man. Count me in.
Nice. Pred, man, you brought some interesting topics to the DM, some great conversation and all that good stuff, man. Why don't you let people know where they can find you and what you've been up to with your YouTube channel, man?
Yeah, man, I like to keep stuff short and sweet. So you guys can find me Predator_H2OS at Xbox Live, on Twitter, on PSN, Also on Steam. My channel is called the Xbox After Party. I'm working with J-Dubs right now. We're working. I'm in contract negotiations with him right now to do some stuff with me. So my plan is to start doing a quick show, maybe a 30-minute show before MSC mornings to get you guys pregame for that. So that's coming here in the future, hopefully within the next month. Like I said, I'm working with J-Dubs right now. We're getting some stuff together. Outside of that, man, what's that?
You gonna be the opener for the MC?
Well, not necessarily the opener, but yeah, if you want to look at it that way.
That's not a bad thing, man.
That's
You
not
gotta
a bad thing at
get a
all.
good time slot, man. I don't like stepping on people's toes. You gotta. Since I've been trying to get this YouTube thing going, I realized that there's a lot of other YouTubers out there. A lot of people listen to a lot of different people, so you gotta find a good time to, I guess, get in where you fit in. I guess you can put it that way. So, still on the shop. Haven't been on there a couple of weeks. We do that on Saturdays, usually right after this show. And I've been guesting with you, Xbot. So it's been a pleasure having on again, second week in a row. Man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no doubt, Pred, man. You bring a great perspective. This show, not only is it with the gameplay and stuff, but it's about the personalities on the panel, man. I absolutely love what you bring to the table. I love your kind of like your gaming mind and where you kind of see things a little bit differently than people on the panel, and that's what I like. I think everybody on this show see things a little bit differently, and when you all come together, I think that's when you get like a full kind of like 360 picture on the topics that we're talking about, man. And you're doing a great job, man. I love having you on, dude.
Thanks, man. Anytime.
No doubt. And let's get to Mr. Goldblum himself, man, who really got the fire lit under his ass by Crap Gamer, yo. Yo, Dark Optimus, man, why don't you let people know where they could get a hold of you, any other shows you're on? Man, you know the deal.
Well, I'm just glad he came in with his big fat mouth and, so I didn't have to talk tonight. But no, you guys can
I did your job for you, Optimus. Shut up.
It's all love, we like to joke around with each other and stuff. So, but yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live at the same name. You can also find me on the Quest podcast every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, he gets the guest star with M. Baines, by the way.
That is true, yeah. He's more like the guest star. He's like,
Dude, I am an M. Baines fan. I don't know what you're talking about, Dark.
well, he's like, the top of the line, so. But yeah, man, it was always fun coming on next, and definitely looking forward to what you guys do in the future and stuff, so. Yeah.
Well, hopefully, again, like I said about perspectives and everything like that, I do like what you bring to the table when you share your opinions, even though we don't agree. And again, that's a good thing about having a live show. You can't always agree. We can't be a bunch of yes men, just like, yes, sir, that's right. Yes, sir, that's right, man. You do definitely speak your opinion, although your opinion on Forza is absolutely wrong.
Halo 5,
it's a niche title, man. Get over it.
Oh, fuck you.
Why do you get offended by that word?
I know, right?
It sounds ugly to me. I don't know. But, since the Don decided to speak up real quick, Don, we didn't get a chance to talk about your video again.
We can talk about that later. That's no big deal.
Dude, you have been coming out with some really good videos when it comes to the developer side to things and how you're looking at the gaming industry with Happy Little Polygons. Why don't you let people know about that channel and, of course, where they could get a hold of you, man?
Yeah, the YouTube channel is Happy Little Polygons. It is a byproduct of demand, supply and demand. So you guys have asked for things. I have provided just a little bit of opinion piece outside of next podcast. So you guys can check that out. Primarily it was done for my artwork, that sort of thing, but that stuff takes a while to kind of get up and going. So all the opinion pieces are kind of filler between artwork I'm going to upload up on that channel. So enjoy that. If you want to follow me on Xbox Live or on Twitter, it's the Don _ KTR on Twitter and then space on Xbox Live.
Nice, man. Very professional, by the way. And speaking of professional, let's go the direct opposite way and let's talk to K Mega real quick. Yo, Mega, you know you my brother, man. I love you, yo. You've been doing an incredible job, man. You got that Dead Sea Scroll. It's almost getting as big as Next Gens, man. Why don't you let people know where they can check you out, man?
All right, man. So I'm going to be professional. You mother! No, I'm just playing. Anyway, yeah, man, you can check me out on, of course, every Saturday night on the next podcast. My brothers, man, it's good to see how far that all my friends is grown. It's a wonderful thing. Also, the BGST, the daddy of them all. You know what I'm saying? You'll see us Sunday whenever Z or Crap or whoever hit us up.
Zaire.
We'll be there. Yeah, Zaire. You know what I'm saying? The multiplayer podcast on Thursday nights. That's the wild one. Sometimes I bring that multiplayer flavor to other podcasts. I don't know why, but I do sometimes. And then, of course, my little thing, GRG podcast on Friday nights right after Crossfire. And, man, just, check out the channel, my channel, KMega405. And, I don't throw out as many damn videos as Crap, but I do pro Xbox, just try to bring some truth to the game. And, yeah, man, we just keep it rolling. And, if anybody wants to hook me up on some Fortnite, because I'm not buying that damn game again. I'll put up some moves. Go ahead and hit me up, man, on the DM. I would definitely appreciate that. So, thank you.
Yo, Mega, I do have to say, when it comes to GRG, I was talking about different personalities and stuff. I feel like that panel over there, man, of course, BGST, Xbox Nation, crazy shows. I do love that, GRG is a newer podcast. The personalities there, with All Day, with Delilah, with Lady Infamous, you sometimes, Jay Fonz, I feel like that is such a group of people with different personalities, and the discussion, man, it gets crazy over there. I absolutely
and don't forget and you cannot forget our Donald Trump live wire, because you don't know what the hell he's gonna say. You don't know what live wire is gonna say, man.
Get him to sing the Mooch and Crap theme song.
Yes.
You know what's funny about Livewire? It was so crazy last night. He got quiet. He's like, I don't know about this. When he starts backstepping, you're in trouble there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know what the hell, boy. Tequila and the podcast hosting podcasts it will never happen again.
Never happen.
Never happen again, man. I promise.
Well, like I told you, man, everybody has that experience, live show and drinking. Right, Crap? I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, exactly. I've been there.
I'm still waiting for mine. We'll see what happens, man. I'm a little over 3 years in on YouTube, and I haven't done it yet, but I know it's coming. But, as usual, huge shout out to everybody who came in to check out the show live. We had up over 100 people. You guys are absolutely fantastic, and I will let you know, if it wasn't for you guys, this show would not exist. You guys give us the strength, you give us the inspiration to keep trying to do more, to be as entertaining as possible while still giving you the truth in the gaming news. And you guys give us all our strength, man. This is your show, and we really appreciate the support. I know gamers got a game. It is Saturday night. People want to get the controllers in their hands. So I'm going to say, like I say every Saturday, we will see you next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Hey, shout out to Intro Media Gaming.
There it is, man. Perfect timing. Yo, later, everybody.